Happy Saturday. What is it? February 4th? Yep, February 4th, the first non-football weekend. Oh, I don't count the Pro Bowl of of the year since the season began. One more week till the Super Bowl. I am your host, William, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Center Live, the Saturday night overnight show. I am here to shepherd you to what is February 4th into February 5th. February 5th, by the way, 33 years, 35 years ago, that tomorrow night was the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant match, which was the match where the $1 Million Man took hold of the belt after the quick count from the twin Dave Hebner. So I'm going to recognize that somewhere tomorrow. Um, wow, it has been on so many different levels. I saw a good movie. I saw what I think is Dave Bautista's best movie, Knock at the Cabin, and what has now become my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie. We have a whole bunch of DC news that, if anything, has started a conversation and I think, a positive direction. And it has got us talking about comics, and it's got people who had no intention on coming into a comic store, coming into comic book stores, and getting connected with some of the stories that were revealed as part of the basis of storylines on Tuesday. So, and then we're going to talk some fungus. Yep, we're going. I mean, The Last of Us is right now the best show on TV, in my opinion. And it is based on a horrific possibility that a mind-controlling fungus called cordyceps could take over us and just totally fuck the entire world up. So I'm going to dive into it. We got a little video I'm going to watch from National Geographic that shows you, how it works on ants. And then I'm going to go into a lot of the hypotheticals that go into that. We're going to get a little gross on that, depending on what I can pull up. And then we'll have Thade come in and give his point of view from it, because I'm pretty sure Thade knows, a lot about that. And the rest of it is just going to be you. These are topics that I am putting out there as the basis of the overnighter, because I just don't want to sit and stare at the screen. However, at any point in time, like I said, if you guys bring something up in the chat that is more exciting than what I got going on, like a dog looking after a new bone, I will chase that down. So let's go ahead and say hi to the chat, and then I will go ahead and bring in my wingman Thade. How you doing, Jay? Nice to see you. Stella, yes, please hit the like button for both me and Enoch. You can hit it on Point Diction Lounge, and you can also go to my channel and hit like there if you're watching it there. All right. Hey, William, looking forward to The Authority, Lantern's Paradise Lost, and Swamp Thing. Also, I hope the Swamp Thing movie that they can explore all the lore, and I hope the villain is Anton Arcane. That's a good pick for a villain, but there's a lot of other Vertigo level enemies that you could throw in there too. I'm hoping they lead towards the Vertigo run of Swamp Thing. I think that is for me, the definitive run. But hey, how you doing, Darth? Film Goblin, did you grow with the Golden Age and Silver Age DC? Prefer the Bronze Age? By the time I was alive, they were both well into their runs, and one of them was over with. So as a comic book historian, I'm going to go with Silver Age, because that's the Silver Age is what most of what we have now is based on. So if I had to choose, I'd go with that one. How you doing, Brian, Master of None? We got Picard to talk about coming up here real soon. Jeff, I'm going to see if I can not screw up your name. Glotfeltley? I hope I'm doing that right. All right, someone explain why Soups is going to jail. Are you talking about a recent storyline? Oh, yeah, okay. We were in the other stream. If you're talking about the other stream where Jarbo brought up the possibility of Superman technically being a war hero, technically, I mean, I guess if you want to say Superman is acting on behalf of the United States, he goes over to another country and kills things. I mean, who's going to convict him? You gonna arrest him? You see how that turned out in Man of Steel, huh? Jarbo's thumbnail doesn't make sense. I didn't see his thumbnail, but he brought it up in the other chat. We were just on there just before I came here. I was on the Vodka stream with Dave. I think the post-crisis stories are convoluted with the crisis events, and I think 52's more linear. Rebirths mess things up again. I have no soft spot in my heart for either the New 52 or Rebirth. I think they were both things that just convoluted and just droid things down. Let's see, Thade, we'll bring Thade in here. Keep Jarbo out of the chat. Thank you. So zombies can happen. We're going to go into that. That's going to be one of the more interesting. Let's see. Did I skip anything? Not sure what timeline James Gunn is going with. The Boom Boys are back. Did you hear about Supergirl, Woman on Tomorrow, The Authority, and the DC Comics titles are sold out? Yes, we are going to be talking about those sold out books. Not, I have a couple of copies from back because when we're going to bring up DC Infinite. Here is number one, which is it's going for $90. I mean, come on. I mean, I know it's poor marketing for me to tell you to pay less for something that I could possibly sell for $100, but I also want to keep you as a customer. So I want to do business in good faith. But yeah, we're going to bring up those comics and we're going to bring up we're going to go into DC Infinite and talk about some of the stuff. So, all right. Sorry, it was a standard question. I caught off guard. So, yeah, it was funny. Hey, Thade. Hey, William. Everyone, chat. Good to see you. Not sure timeline game. I mean, we have his own timeline. What's up, Black Lightning? It's cool, RJ. Just want to keep our drama chat free. Yeah, it was a funny question. I saw Knock at the Cabin today, Dave. Yes, he did. I mean, he is just, in the short time that he's been an actor, he is committed to his craft, and I loved him in this movie. All right, just let me see. Continue to say hi, everybody. All right. Hey, William, do you collect Marvel toys from the early 2000s and icons? Yes, I do. I have some of them around here somewhere. All right, let me go ahead and bring in Thade so we can get started. What's going on, dude? Dude, you look like a truck driver, man. You're muted. I think you're muted. Can you hear me?
You're muted, Jarrell. You're muted.
There you go.
Yeah, hey, what's up? You saw a good movie this week. I saw a horrible one.
What did you see?
I saw Skinamarink.
Oh, is it
Don't
bad?
bother.
Okay.
It's an hour and a half of grainy footage with horrible sound, and there's no ending to the story. There's no point to the story. It just continues on and then it ends.
Is it better or worse than Barbarian? More disappointing or worse than
way more disappointing. Barbarian had some substance. This one didn't. And it leaves a lot to your imagination.
Oh, see, I don't pay for that. See, I pay for the writer to give me his imagination. If I got to think of my own, if I got to make up the ending, then I should get paid. I shouldn't have to pay to get in.
Well, see, I give him credit. He put it out there. Like, he made that thing. He had the balls to make that thing. Okay? But and for $15,000, he's made $2 million at the box office.
Okay, then yeah, that's like how Knocking the Cabin. It costs $20 million to make costumes. That's it, and I know that movie.
That movie's already done way more.
It has to be. Has to have done its money. Just turning over the chat to Stella so I don't screw it up. All right, Stella, you can bring up whatever you think we should be seeing right now. All right, so yeah, Cabin, Knock at the Cabin was great. I enjoyed myself. If you guys haven't had a chance to see that, it is good.
I hear Batista did really well.
Yeah, he did great. He is the movie. He is the engine that drives the movie, and I really think he's just getting better with each role. And he's going to be in Dune too, right? Yeah, he's going to be in Dune. That's my next Dave Batista.
Yeah, he was already Raban in the first part of Dune.
Yeah, so he's probably going to have more of a role in the second one.
And Austin Butler's playing Fade Ralpha, the other brother.
Is he going to do it as Elvis? Is he going to do it?
I don't know, man, but it looks cool. Right. Timothy Chalamet was like, yeah, he's terrifying as Fade Ralpha.
Okay. So. All right, so Mwamba, I think Superman Legacy will lead right into the Authority because you already know that they're going to make them the elite, especially if Manchester Black is the leader instead of Jenny Sparks. That's a very good possibility, and I think that they're bringing them in because, remember, the premise of this movie is Superman has these values in the world that does not appreciate them. They appreciate things more how the elite and how the Authority do things. So it's going to make for that dramatic conflict. So that's very well possible.
And yes, to everybody in the chat that's saying I look like a trucker, that's the point.
You do. You know that meme where it has the trucker on there with that? It's like that's Thade. And I'm like, You should have like a little sound effect, the horn. So when I bring you in, it's a horn.
I could do that. I could do
I know.
that.
Put a drop.
No, I actually started my first show, my own personal show over on Brodan's channel earlier tonight, and I reviewed that movie Skinamarink.
You lost me at Brodan. No, I'm just kidding. How is Brodan doing? I haven't seen him in a while.
He's doing all right. I've got my own personal show on his channel 2 nights a week now, so doing movie reviews. So.
Oh, cool! You need to put a link. We'll put a link in there, and
we'll put a link to Brodan's channel at the end. My part of my show's called the Dark Realms Reviews. Eastbound and down, load up and truck it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like you're doing some ham radio there, but yeah, man, it's been a good week. It's been a good week as far as pop culture goes, in my opinion. I know people are gonna have very
other than that horrible ass movie I saw, man, everything else has been good this week.
Yeah.
Like the DC news was great. Saw some pretty bomb ass shows this week. Some stuff that's old, some stuff that's new. I just got done watching the newest episode of The Winchesters, which is the Supernatural spinoff. It was really good. It was a vampire episode. I was happy. Everything but that one movie was great.
Yeah. Well, you should have gone and seen. Yeah.
Well, luckily, I didn't pay for it. I saw it on Shudder. So.
Okay. Would you use your trial, or are they just one of their free movies that they had?
It was the trial.
Okay. Yeah, I have Shudder too. I have every streaming service known to man.
Well, technically, we have Shudder. Stella and I have Shudder through
Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
But when it wants to work, it works. When it doesn't,
yeah. I tried to do these things through Amazon. I just decided it's better. Hey, William, did you collect Marvel too? Yes, I did. I did collect the stuff.
I collected those too, especially the ones that had the extra the piece to make the bigger figure in them. You had to collect all of them to get the one figure, you know. I collected all of those.
I'm actually about to buy some of those later on this week. Somebody's bringing those in.
I need to answer something here for Jason Ease. Stella, bring up Jason Ease's chat there. It says, Dave, what channel shows the Winchesters? It's the second one from the bottom. Okay. It's actually on the CW app, and it'll show it the next day. So show comes on Tuesday nights. It'll show it on Wednesday.
Cool.
And it's free. The CW app is free. You don't have to pay for it.
All right. So, breaker hammer. Yeah. I'll give a quick one because I've been on the air 3 or 4 times since then, and then I'll let you go on it. There are some things in there that I'm like, okay, great. They don't, attract me immediately, but the things that do attract me immediately have me gripped. The Superman thing, I'm taking a wait and see to see how that goes. Batman, okay. The Bat family is something I've never been. I love a singular Batman, and I think other characters sometimes weaken the narrative. But that's just me. Green Lantern, to me, like I was telling people before, what would be a win for me that day? Obviously, we knew the obvious stuff about Superman, Batman was going to be there, even if we didn't know the details. But if they left that press conference or whatever the hell it was without an announcement of a Green Lantern, to me, that was going to be a loss because the Green Lantern is something that I think is crucial to whatever story you're going to tell on whatever medium. So when I heard that, the Wonder Woman Paradise Lost, I think is going to be epic. That is going to be right down my alley. I think if they do it and they don't hold back, you do a Spartacus Blood and Sand type of a situation, Game of Thrones situation. I think it's going to be epic. The Swamp Thing is going to be great. So all in all, for the most part, I thought it was good. Like I said, I think they got an uphill battle to make this a success. I keep giving my odds at 40%, but a lot of that doesn't have anything to do with James Gunn and what he's doing. It has to do with a lot of stuff that came before and the perception of DC. So.
All right, real quick, I wanted to answer Cylon Scotty on the Skinamarink comment he made. I applaud the guy for putting the movie out, Cylon. I do. It just wasn't for me. It's great. It makes you think. It has some disturbing quality to it, but it's just not a movie for me, man. Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hello, Michelle.
As for me and the DC slate, number one on the slate for me is Lanterns. that's the one I've been waiting for. That's the one I've been wanting. And now they tell me it's Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan. And they mentioned 2 words: true detective. They got me.
And they tie directly into what is going to be the overarching threat that he said. So you have me right there. So
that's cool, Silent. I was just letting you know it's just not for me. It was good. I actually preferred the short film to the actual movie. He made that movie from a short film called Hack. It's a 30-minute long short film. It's actually really good, and it has more of an explanation than the movie does. He has a channel. The guy that made Skinamarink has a channel on YouTube called Bite Size Nightmares, and the short that Skinamarink is based on is on Bite Size Nightmares. Also on the DC slate, the other 2 things that interested me, I was really interested in the Paradise Lost because they said Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's
and if we could get,
they knew I was watching that one.
If we could get some Game of Thrones Spartacus action, like you were saying, man, that would be great.
Because I'm sorry, I don't want to be a misogynist, but I'm going to be one here. We're doing hot Amazons. We're doing, and if you read that story where there's sailors and stuff that, where they kind of impose their will on some things. All I ask is, listen, if you're going to do this and you're going to put it on HBO Max, don't hold back, if you know what I mean. Give me all 3Ds and give me whatever blood, boobies that are supposed to be there. I'm not saying just do it just to be doing it. But if you're going to tell this type of story and you're going to tempt me with a picture from that particular graphic, from that particular story, then don't give me no G-rated stuff.
The story that's based on, is bloody as hell.
Fuck yeah. And it's kind of rapey.
Yeah, it is kind of. We miss you too, Michelle.
Go all in or don't go in. That's all I ask.
I'm not all that interested in the Batman thing because I really don't like Damian.
I love Damian, but I just don't want the family right now. I got Robert Pattinson's Batman, so that's my safe space right now. I don't like the Bat family. They only exist for me is to die or get brutally injured.
Anthony Manzano, my name is Thade. I am Thade. I have been Thade. I will always be Thade.
What's he asking me?
He asked in the chat my name.
Oh.
William, what is your brother's name? Thade. I am Thade. Yeah. Now, the Authority sounds interesting to me because I remember them from Wildstorm.
Yeah, I mean, they predate a lot of stuff. I mean, once they did the New 52, they consolidated them into the common universe.
And I love the idea that I love Apollo and Midnighter. They're so violent, both of them.
Yeah, and I like the way that I think they're going to be used. They're going to be used kind of like when Superman and Magog and all his people were doing. They were the new and upcoming superheroes, and they were so brutal and violent because that's what they were reflective of as a society that they grew up in. Whereas Superman's was like,
I agree with you, Michelle. I agree with you, Michelle. Jason Todd is my favorite Robin, and also I voted for him to die.
Yeah,
back in the 80s when the vote happened, I voted for him to die. So.
Yeah, they made him to be an unlikable character. So
now a third one that the third thing that interested me off of that, or the fourth thing now, because I mentioned the Authority, I really like that Woman of Tomorrow storyline for Supergirl.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
So good. Oh, that is so good, and I think it'll make a good. I think it'll make a good movie.
This is people kind of like stereotype James Gunn. This is what he excels at, though. This is a Kryptonian story unlike any other. It doesn't take place on Earth. It doesn't involve a lot of the other stuff. It involves a very jaded Supergirl because it's basically, and she's got crypto with it. It's basically, she was sent to Earth to help protect Kal-El, and she gets there. He doesn't need protecting. She's trying to find her way in life, and she runs up against this girl who's just total vengeance because her whole plan has been screwed by these criminals, and she's basically teaming up with having Supergirl go after her. It's a really great story. It came out. I've had these. I ordered a lot of these because of
I just started reading it. I'm not finished with the story yet, but I just started reading it, and it's good so far. I love it.
Yeah, I ordered a lot because it's Tom King, and I probably shouldn't have ordered as many as I did, but now I'm happy I did. And here's a variant number one. So when I ordered as many as I needed, I got several different variants for the whole series. So I have all those here right now, but it's on DC Infinite as well.
Yeah, that's where I'm reading it. I actually agree that we should. No, wait a minute. You're asking, should Manhunter be in phase one of DC? I kind of want him to be because I like the Manhunter, but I don't know.
Martian Man, I think he should be in phase one. I think he should be in phase one because he's one of the oldest Justice League characters that I don't think has been, we would have got him in Zach, in Justice League as it continued, but we haven't gotten the proper live screen interpretation of him.
Batman for Brave and the Bold. I have what I think is a great casting for Batman for Brave and the Bold.
I think it's gonna for Batman himself.
Yeah, because he's played him before. He's done him voice acting wise. I think Jensen Ackles would make a good Batman.
Depends on at what point in their career we're doing. Because, like I said,
if he's old enough to already have Damian, he's going to be in his 30s.
Yeah, because people think that Batman started when he was 20. Batman did not start. Here's the line: if you look at the history, and a lot of people don't know about Batman. Batman has a law degree.
Yeah,
there are issues on Batman where you could see his law degree. He went to Yale. He
was also gone with the League of Assassins for 10 years.
For 7 years. So let's say Batman graduates from high school at the earliest age, usually 17, right? He goes into college. All right, so he's 21. He does pre-law and he does law. So that puts him at 23. He leaves for 7 years? It's depending on where you go, 7 years and 10. Okay, so he comes back to Gotham as 30 in Batman. So if you look at the lineage that they've always given him and all of his life events, he's Batman at 30. Robert Pattinson is 35 years old. He's been Batman for 2 years. That makes sense.
Stella, go back up to Jalen's comment. I wanted to answer that comment really quick. And also, here's another thing. People are complaining. They're like, "Oh, why are they starting him out with Damian?" I think he's probably already had Robins before. I think we're going to find that out.
Oh yeah, if you're starting with Damian, you're probably dealing with Drake, and you're probably dealing with Grayson and Todd. So I think that's part of their story dynamic. Young Batman. I mean, I have a young Batman. I have Pattinson if I can. I've never thought I'd be going to Pattinson Batman as my refuge, but there you go.
Also, a lot of people work off of the idea that Superman and Batman were the same age. They weren't. Superman was actually quite a bit older than Batman. Batman was quite a bit older than Superman when they started out.
Yeah.
As heroes.
Superman, if you go post-crisis, Superman becomes Superman later in his 20s, early 30s. None of these mainline superheroes, except for Barry Allen. Barry Allen will be the youngest of them.
Yeah.
Are people in there, are young people. Hal Jordan's a test pilot. In some continuities, Hal Jordan's 05 and he's a test pilot. You have to have some years in the Air Force to even be considered for the test pilot program. I think it's a minimum 03. Minimum 03. 03 is 10 years in the Air Force. So if you joined the Air Force out of college, standard college, you joined at 23. So he's 32 as an 03. And by the time he gets to the point where he's an experienced test pilot, which he is in the comics, he's got to be an 05. He's got to be mid to late 30s. So none of these superheroes really are young people.
I don't think it'll be Sasha Collier.
No, she just.
I think she's just going to be there for Flash. I honestly think they're going to stick us with another Supergirl.
Yeah, and I think that Supergirl is connected to something that goes on in the Flash. I think she's related. She may be a daughter.
You know who would make an interesting Supergirl? Chloe Grace Moretz.
I could see it.
So there's a photo online. Let me see if I can find it floating around of her as Supergirl.
Why is everybody asking Thade all the questions? What the hell?
Because they've heard you talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. I've been on all week. Yeah, that's fair.
You forget these people follow you around. I'm usually only on with you once a week.
Yeah, fair point. All right, ask away. Oh, I'm seeing your text right now. Swamp Thing movie. Do you think they will explore and Laura with Green? Oh yeah, he actually already answered him. Yeah, that's just in this actual stream. So here we go.
I don't think I've answered the Swamp Thing question. Give me a second. Trying to find this picture. There we go. Share screen. Share screen. Subject. Doot. Share. You go ahead and share that for me there.
Oh, you don't have that? I thought you had that.
No, I've got it. I've got it. YouTube. There we go. Come on. There we go. That's the shot that's been going around of her with the Supergirl costume on.
I could see it. I could see it. And you know how it's going to go. It's going to be somebody we never heard of, like Sasha Cal. I didn't know.
As for the Swamp Thing question, I hope that they explore the lore of the Green. And it'd be great if Anton Arcane was a villain, but there's like William said earlier, there's a lot of good villains for Swamp Thing.
I wish this was going to be a show rather than a movie.
That's what I wish. You know, somebody said earlier, another YouTuber, they were like, haven't they already done the Swamp Thing thing? The show just didn't. The show had 10 episodes and it just didn't get the views. That is not why that Swamp Thing show got canceled. That Swamp Thing show did not lose viewers. That Swamp Thing show got canceled because of a tax problem. There was a tax problem in the area they were making that show, and they had to cancel it for tax purposes. That had nothing to do with the viewership on that show. That show was amazing.
I think they should have found a way to do that show again, be honest with you. I mean, there's other ways around, even if it took you a little while. I think, cut something. I mean, yeah, it was an $80 million show total, but there's things that you could have used. Recycle a lot of the shit from the first show, a lot of the VFX.
Yeah, and like Bill says, Poison Ivy is also connected to the Green.
There you go. And don't think James Gunn doesn't know that.
And it was the tax problem in North Carolina that was the thing. I'm all hyped for the Green Lantern show. It's going to be used apart from the main focus point for the DC's new direction, giving Hal Jordan and John Stewart some light to shine this time. Yes, I agree. And the fact that they're introducing it through the lanterns, that's amusing.
Yeah, I want to see the core, but you have to start somewhere, so I'm down with this. Yeah, I want to see I want to see Kilowog. I want to see. Don't want to see Mort.
Does Batman have a daughter in the comics now? Huntress has always kind of been his daughter, depending on which
Earth like Earth 1 or 2 type of situation. Yeah.
Fade and William. This question is about Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. Does his grounded character fit in the Batman universe with Matt Reeves? You can cross over. Yeah, I wouldn't, but it could work, but I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. I think the advantages of these all being distinct universes is that they are distinct universes, and it gives creative freedom to people who don't want to jump in to a collected narrative. If some big name directors will not want to come into a shared universe because their freedoms are a little bit restricted.
And Belle says the Supergirl film, she thinks the Supergirl film will surprise us. She goes, I love the sci-fi route. See, that's the thing, Belle. Superman and Supergirl are supposed to be sci-fi. They've always been more sci-fi aimed, especially like in the Silver Age and stuff like that. They forgot about Superman being sci-fi and post-crisis.
Yeah, look at Krypton. Krypton was on the right road before that show got derailed.
Oh, Krypton was amazing.
Yeah.
Putting the Green Lantern somewhere to get involved and hopefully building up another Justice League team down the road later. Well, yeah, we're going to get a Justice League film probably at the end of this phase. Remember, we only got half the slate. We didn't get all of it. He only gave us the first 10 projects.
Let's see. Yeah, and I think that there might be some wariness because of the whole Justice League thing we just went through. He might want to give himself space to let his thing grow a little bit more. I am of the thinking that he is going to combine a lot of what we've already seen. I think it will end up being Darkseid, which is the main baddie, and I think it will be the Darkseid that we know. And I think he will stick true to the canon of Darkseid being unique in every universe.
Okay, so answer this question really quick. Chris Pratt, I think, could play a good Booster Gold. Zoe Saldana, maybe an Amazon. One of the Amazon characters for, or
She
Catwoman.
could be Catwoman.
Catwoman.
These are just fan castings, by the way. You know, it's against my
Yeah.
religion to fan cast, but I am going to answer your question. Go back to that. Go back to that real quick, Stella.
Go back to that one. So,
let's see. So, Chris Pratt, I don't know. I know people are saying Booster Gold, but it all depends on what kind of Booster Gold he writes. He may write a script that doesn't fit that Booster Gold. Karen Gillian, she could also be Catwoman. Vin Diesel, Mr. Freeze. Then that's just me being lazy. And Bradley Cooper could be just about anyone you wanted him to be. He could be. You could name any top villain. I think he's of the caliber. He could be Joker if you wanted, Joker if you wanted him to be. He could be, he could be Lex Luthor. He could be.
It's funny. Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor, of course, on Smallville, he's friends with James Gunn. He went to his wedding here recently, and he was telling James Gunn, he was like, "I'm here if you need a Lex Luthor."
Yeah. A lot of the things I think people are going to have, and this is going to be one of those things where you're going to hear some names that come up that might not necessarily be along the lines of the thinking, but once the scripts are done, I think, and that's why he says I got to wait till the scripts are done, because once the scripts are done, the script should always be done first before you choose an actor. So it's going to be weird. I think you would do. No, I hope not. Listen, no Green Arrow show. I don't think Green Arrow is a strong enough character to support a show outside of the CW. That's just my opinions.
No, a Green Arrow movie would be fine, though.
I don't know when you would do that, though.
How would you guys do a live-action movie for Oliver Queen if it's in Elseworlds DC movie or show? Regular continuity and do a movie sometime before the JLA movie.
I do him in an Elseworlds as a John Wick character. John Wick type.
You could even do Oliver and Black Canary in the same movie.
Yeah, in fact, that probably would be must if you have it. Who do you think should do voice kill walks into a like to be CGI? That's a tough one because you can voice. You're gonna have to voice alter him probably.
Vin Diesel.
Bradley Cooper could do him. Yes, he's voicing a raccoon. So. Go back to our question real quick. Krypton. It just did not have the viewership to justify what they were spending on it, and it was on the Sci-Fi Network, who has a fleeting sense of what their shows mean to them these days. Had Krypton appeared back in 2005 to 2011, Krypton would have had 5 or 6 seasons. But because it came where it did, the management that was running Sci-Fi had a different outlook on what the Sci-Fi channel should be. And to be honest with you, I think they failed themselves.
Yeah. Dude, that storyline with Brainiac was so good.
Yeah. And that's another person. Oh, Bradley Cooper could be Brainiac. He could be anything, but Brainiac would be one of the ones that he could possibly play.
There was a question about where's that?
Let James Gunn. Yeah, eventually he will get around to doing his own James Gunn. I think he will. I don't think he's going to touch the Justice League right now, simple because I think in order for him to do something brand new with Justice League, there's probably going to need to be some distance between the mess that was Justice League before, otherwise he's going to be dealing with the specter of previous management's mistakes. I don't think that's a good. How would I debut Manhunter and what kind of style of TV show? It would be straight up science fiction. It would exploit his ability to shapeshift. It would him be him infiltrating all types of walks of life just to study mankind. Things like that.
Well, he's going to do a Justice League one day. That's a given. Zoe Saldana could be Nubia. She could. Vin Diesel for a DC character, why not? Make him a new anti-hero role for DC. I'm in for that.
Just make him Dominic. Okay.
What is up, Larry Quarterwitz? How you doing, buddy? Stayed a couple of Batman characters that I like in terms of villains, a Scarecrow or Rorschach. How can you do those villains correctly in live action? Rorschach's already been done. He was done rather well in The Watchmen.
Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley.
Jackie Earle Haley's Rorschach is probably the best that you'll ever get. As for Scarecrow, he's been done. The guy who did him pretty well. Can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he was in the Nolan movies. It would have to be somebody lanky and good at being horrifying. Yes, I know. You told us this last Saturday, Michelle. And we congratulated you on that. And I congratulate you on that. That's good. That means you're a success, darling. You're a success. How powerful is Booster Gold compared to Superman? Not bloody powerful at all. Superman could dust the floor with Booster Gold. Booster Gold's a tech-based villain. Hero, sorry.
Not a big fan of Booster Gold, but hey, guess I'm getting him anyway.
Joss Whedon should play himself as a villain. Yeah, that'd be funny.
That would be it's the only way he's getting back into Hollywood. So.
I would love if James Gunn did The Question and Huntress. That would be cool.
The Question will be great because The Question is the basis of Rorschach.
And yes, to answer that question right there, I have been, and Stella and I have been watching The Mayfair Witches. It's a good show. Did you get a chance to watch Interview with the Vampire series beforehand?
You're talking about
Mwamba. Do I think they're basing the Superman, Legacy Superman, sort of off of Christopher Reeve Superman? God, I hope not.
No, I think they're basing him off the Grant Morrison run from Superman, All-Star Superman.
If they're doing the All-Star Superman, the only problem I've got with the All-Star Superman is, wasn't he dying?
Yeah, but he doesn't, though.
Okay.
We'll pull that up. All right, so real quick, we'll get back to the chat, but let's talk about some fungus. Hope you guys are all eating salads right now. I hope there's mushrooms everywhere. All right, let's share the screen. Let's bring you some science into our science fiction. Right.
Yes.
If StreamYard will let me.
And yes, I have a lot to say about zombie viruses because I know of a couple.
I think you have one. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I am one.
All right, I shouldn't get copyrighted for this because this is on PBS. Hold on. So this is going to be the real life stuff. And
yeah, if it's PBS, you'll be fine, dude.
Let's go. Cordyceps.
Around 48 million years ago, in a warm subtropical forest in what's now Germany, zombies were on the march. These zombies were ants, and their bodies and behavior were no longer under their control. They had become infected with the spores of a fungus that was now growing inside them. This fungus was actually manipulating their movements, forcing them to do something they'd never ordinarily do, something strange and specific. The ants abandoned their colony, climbed up a nearby plant onto the underside of one of its leaves, and bit down hard on the leaf's veins, locking themselves into place. This behavior is known as the death grip, and as the name suggests, it's the last thing these ants would ever do. Soon the fungus sprouted, probably from their heads, releasing spores to infect new hosts and continue the cycle. All that was left behind were the marks on that ancient leaf. It fossilized and was published in 2011, complete with the distinctive death grip scars. This single fossil leaf is the oldest known evidence of zombified ants, which still exist today. Modern zombie ants even perform the exact same death grip behavior, something healthy ants never do. So we know that this capability to manipulate behavior is ancient. But how and why did it come to exist in the first place? Well, it turns out the fungus's ability to turn ants into the walking dead may have evolved as a response to the development of an equally complex behavior of the ants themselves, a thing called social immunity. Over hundreds of millions of years, many fungi have become specialized for infecting insects and other arthropods. Generally, it happens like this. A fungal spore will attach to a host, penetrate its exoskeleton, and start growing within its body. Eventually, when the fungus is ready, it erupts from the host and releases spores to find and infect new victims. And if you're an old school sci-fi fan like I am, then I know exactly what you're thinking, and you are right. These fungi are basically xenomorphs, and the insects that they infect are like human space colonists whose last moments will be watching parasites explode out of their bodies. The insects have it a little better, I guess, because they're dead before the xenomorph pops out. Anyway, only some fungi have worked behavioral manipulation, aka zombification, into this cycle. And none of them infect people, so don't worry. Probably because they're adapted for infecting arthropods specifically, which makes it really hard for them to jump to other animals. In any case, the most well-known of these fungal puppet masters are probably the species of Ophiocordyceps that infect and manipulate ants. And this manipulation has become incredibly fine-tuned over evolutionary time. When the ants are forced to death grip on the undersides of leaves, they do it at a specific height, around 25 centimeters above the ground, and at a specific time of day, when the sun is highest. This is probably to ensure optimal temperature and humidity for the reproductive part of the fungi to erupt and spread its spores, which fungi often need very particular conditions to do. Positioning the ants on the underside of a leaf might also give the growing fungi protection from UV damage and rain. And directing the ants to bite down around noon might ensure that, by the time they die hours later, the fungi can begin to emerge at night when it's cooler. Researchers have even found evidence that these fungi have tweaked their strategy over millions of years to keep up with their changing environments. See, leaf biting is the typical behavior of zombified ants in tropical forests dominated by evergreen plants. But in temperate forests filled with deciduous plants, which shed their leaves, zombified ants almost always perform their death grip on twigs and bark instead. To dig into this difference, researchers sampled DNA from Ophiocordyceps fungi that infect ants from as many locations as they could, including both temperate and tropical species. Then they used that data to create a family tree for these fungi, mapping out the evolutionary relationships between the different species based on their genetic similarity. And this family tree suggested that while leaf biting is the ancestral trait, the shift to biting twigs and bark evolved convergently at least 4 times between 20 and 40 million years ago. The researchers hypothesized that this was the result of changes in climate and environment that occurred over that period. Because around 47 million years ago, in the mid-Eocene epoch, when that fossil leaf from much less seasonal change. Back the equator to the North Pole. So it makes sense that to lock onto leaves would have been the original strategy. But as the climate cooled during the late Eocene, tropical and subtropical evergreen forests were gradually replaced by temperate deciduous forests at northern and southern latitudes. Zombified ants that only gripped onto leaves in these regions would have fallen to the forest floor when the leaves were shed. And because the fungus seems to have pretty picky requirements when it comes to temperature and humidity, this would have been a major problem. One that provided a pretty strong selective pressure for ensuring that the ants bit onto something a little more secure. Okay, but why did such a complex ability evolve in the fungi in the first place? I mean, this seems like a really complicated way for a little fungus to reproduce. Why not just release your spores into the air and call it a day? That's what I would do. Well, the fossil record doesn't really give us a clear answer. The oldest known example of a fungus parasitizing ants is an ant trapped in amber dated to between 45 and 55 million years ago. And it clearly shows a fungus erupting from the ant's body, specifically from its butt, which is probably the most embarrassing way you could be immortalized for eternity. That's high on the list of ways I did not want to go. As amazing as this fossil is, though, it can't really tell us how or even if the fungus was controlling the ant's behavior back then. It might have just infected and killed the ant without manipulating its behavior, like many species do today. But we can use DNA, again, to give us insights into the history of ant zombification, this time right back to its origins. In a paper published in 2019, a team of researchers analyzed the DNA of over 600 species within the order of fungi to which Ophiocordyceps belongs. This more extensive family tree suggested that the modern group of Ophiocordyceps that zombifies ants, and those are perfect.
Let's skip to the growth.
Really close to a busy foraging trail, the fungi could evade the colony's social immunity. And this would ensure that there'd be enough time and the right conditions to emerge. Now, there are still many mysteries to be solved surrounding zombie ant fungi, like how exactly they take control of their hosts to manipulate their behavior. We just don't know how they do that. But this ability clearly has ancient roots, stretching back tens of millions of years. Over that time, it's changed to suit the fungi's changing environment, as well as their changing hosts. And it's this ongoing arms race between pathogen and host that seems to have led to the emergence of zombification in the first place. as the perfect counter to a complex behavioral defense, which is pretty messed up when you think about it. I mean, all the ants wanted was to keep their colony free of disease, and instead, they got zombies. Okay, just to let you know, we are going on a quick summer break, so this.
Okay, so there you go. Now, when he says, don't worry, it can't spread to humans, I think you watch the first 5 minutes of the lesson, and you know what's going on as far as global warming, we're all going to die.
If a certain temperature raises and the fungus mutates, then yes.
It's over, man.
There's also another thing that is pretty common, and it can actually zombie you now or within 30 years. There's a thing called human spongiform encephalitis, which is also known as human mad cow disease, also known as Crutchfield-Jacobs disease. If you become infected by it, it is 99% communicable, and it is 100% fatal. It will live in your body and can live in your body for up to 35 years before it activates. And once it activates, it basically burrows holes into your frontal lobe, taking away your inhibitions and your pain centers, and you will act like a zombie before you die.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, hold on. Hey, let me here. I don't think I've grossed anybody out yet. Let's go ahead and.
In fact, if you get human Crutchfield-Jacobs, if in my line of work, if we get a body in that has human Crutchfield-Jacobs, it's immediate cremation. We're not even allowed to touch the body.
Oh, it's like that lady said in The Last of Us, just bomb everything.
Yeah.
That's hold on. Here we go. I'm going to speed through this and we'll get back to our geek talk, but this stuff is
that grows on bugs. In fact, it doesn't just grow on bugs.
Yeah, what is cordyceps?
In general are parasitic. Some are parasitic to other fungi, while most are actually endoparasitic, which means basically that.
Here we go. Hope you're all eating.
There's Cordyceps Cordyceps militaris. Cordyceps sinensis is kind of the OG of medicinal cordyceps. It has a long history of use, and it grows by infecting the larvae of the ghost moth. Ugh. The spores of the Cordyceps sinensis mushroom kind of take over the body of this insect, using its insides as fuel.
Wow.
When the caterpillar dies, the mushroom fruits through its head, which is why it sometimes gets the name caterpillar fungus. It's also known sometimes as the winter worm. And if you look at this,
it's starting to jam up on me. All right, well, that's enough of that. Hey, so just remember, replace the word caterpillar and ant with us. Real live human. I would do Greatest Blackenstein. I can't act. But I wish somebody would do a Blackenstein. Aren't they working on a Blackula? Dude,
yes, they are working on another one, yes.
You want to watch some racist, homophobic stuff? Wow. Blackula. Holy mackerel. Kills a gay couple. And then when the cops are investigating it, they're like, why are we even investigating this? Who cares about some blanks? And I'm like, wow, they would get canceled immediately today. And the cops are stupid. I mean, because it's written from the black point of view in L.A. You know how we felt about cops even today, you know, in some cases. So, yeah, Blackula. Does DC have a similar character to Blade in their pantheon, specifically a superhero? I don't recall.
DC does not have a Blade version, a Blade similar. We didn't really have a whole lot of monster hunters in DC that I can think of. You had the Howling, not the Creature Commandos. It was another one.
Katana was a vampire hunter, but that story didn't really
go anywhere.
Yeah. So your answer is not a successful one. Okay, what was the next question?
The Last of Us, by the way, got okayed for a second season already.
Oh yeah. I don't know where the story that they're going to do with the part 2 because I haven't played the game, but there's no way They're gonna milk that out as much as they can. I love that show. I can't wait for it tomorrow. Also, we need to see Kyle Rayner, Guy Gardner, Alan Scott. I don't need to see Alan Scott. The first season of the least and second we get their movie over time and on different levels. Like you don't have. That's the cool thing about it, and that's why I thought this was a must that they had Green Lantern Corps, is that you can represent the Green Lantern in different types of stories with different types of Green Lantern. So yes, over time, yeah. Alan Scott, I've never been a big fan of him because he's not a Green Lantern from OA, and his storylines. I mean, and it's kind of cool. I mean, he was cool in Emerald Twilight, but I just never considered him a Green Lantern in that respect. So I've just never been, But having him in there wouldn't hurt. Like I said, he's a good. He was the only one that was able to survive when Hal Jordan went crazy because his powers weren't leaked to him. So I guess you could do that. What's going on, Jared? William, did you see the ignorant assholes that were review bombing The Last of Us because of gay? Yeah. Listen, man. I mean, we take steps forwards as mankind, and we take steps backwards. I'm like,
and what's silly about that is they're sitting there talking about, because I ran across a couple of them on Twitter and had a conversation with them. They're talking about, well, it should just be all about killing the zombies, which pet peeve here. I don't consider the fungus people zombies. Those are not zombies. Those are fungus people.
Well, and if you have a problem with a gay couple being betrayed, just don't watch the show.
Well,
you took time out of your day to review bomb something.
Here's the point that I'm going to make. The name of the show is not Zombie Killers. The name of the show is The Last of Us. It's about the humans involved. The fungus people are nice. They're an antagonist, but they're not the be all and end all of the show. This is not The Walking Dead, okay?
And even then, the zombies aren't the be all.
It is literally called The Last of Us for a reason. And people that have a problem with that are just freaking retarded.
Well, listen, there are a lot of people who have grown up old school, and when they see homosexuality, that's fine. There are thousands of other TV shows on TVs that don't. I don't see that as an issue. If you have an issue with that, but to take the time out of your day to review bomb something, just don't watch it. It's easy. That remote control is a magical tool. When you aim it at your TV, like I said, you can make things happen, or you can make things disappear. So I hate review bombing anything. William, why is there no money for movies like Blackula remake? It will be a small budget. A lot of it is listen, I'm going to be outright to you is a lot of it is because a lot of major studios don't think there's a black audience for horror. They are wrong. A lot for decades, and then Snoop Dogg ironically brought this up because Snoop Dogg made some horror movies, and then Jordan Peele. Why don't we see more and more? And it's because a lot of studios don't want to fit the money because they don't think that there's an audience for black horror amongst black folks. They are 100% wrong, and I'm glad that they're finally starting to see that. But Blackula itself is a cult movie to begin with, so if you're going to remake that, you're going to have to be really, really careful because a lot of people held that a special place in their heart for that movie. But right now, another reason is Blackula is just standard Dracula fare. If you look at what Blackula is, it's just basically a black Dracula. That's what it is. And the story of Dracula in the 50 years that Blackula was made has been told over and over and over again. There may not be a market for that type of Dracula movie, that type of vampire movie. Romantic movie, it's a horror movie, but it's an exploitation movie too. A lot of the things that went over, we were just talking about, that went over in like the blaxploitation era, like Sugar Hill, The Thing with Two Heads, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Jive, those things, it's the type of things that made those movies special would not go over well in 2023. You want to see
a lot of those blaxploitation movies wouldn't go over well. Not just the monster ones, like
Willie Dynamite would get someone fired. But even when they did it though, but you know what? If you do it, certain studios will give you the time of day because Eddie Murphy was able to do Dolomite Is My Name. Yeah. And that was pure exploitation. So It just has to be done right. And there's not, I'll be honest with you, there's not that many directors that can do exploitation right. And
Dolomite was fun though.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Dolomite. What you see Quentin Tarantino do is a form of exploitation. He gets a lot of his roots from the 70s, those early 70s movies. You know, but he's Quentin Tarantino that can pull it off. There's a bunch of guys that would just fuck it up and get people fired. So there you go. All right, then William, I kind of hope that happens in the future. One DC comic I was obsessed with was the New Gods. I got an opinion about this. Do they wait to debut the New Gods at the end of the Gods and Monsters? I got a theory about this, and it's like I said, it's just a gut feeling based on nothing. Might be just my own hot air. Is I think that the dark side that we currently have is going to be the dark side, and that the New Gods will sprout from that. The New Gods are not part of anyone's universe. They're outside of the multiverse. So if he's going to keep certain aspects of the old DCU, the one that would make the most sense would be the one that would exist outside of any continuity. So I think you would see the New Gods in that vein. Go ahead, Dave.
I just realized something. I watched a little while back Batman Death in the Family, which is one of the DC animated things. I have seen the Creature Commandos before. There's a short clip of that movie.
They're in something else too. They're in something else.
Yeah, there was a clip in Death of the Family, in the Batman Death in the Family movie, where they do Sergeant Rock and the Creature Commandos.
Yeah, they've been around for a really long time.
Yeah, Sergeant Rock has been, now that I remember it, Sergeant Rock's been around since the 50s, I want to say.
Yeah, he's been around since the 50s. It was their answer to. All right, Creature Commandos, let's bring them up. I do not have any comments to there. Their first appearance, actually.
Sergeant Rock first appeared in Our Army at War number 83 in June of 59.
Okay, Weird War Tales number 93, November of 1980 is the first appearance of the original Creature Commandos, 43 years ago. So they've been around for quite a while. Project M, World War II. Yeah. Wow, they've had their own. Dude, these guys would be a perfect for not an Elseworlds, but yeah, they were part of the Vertigo universe because they had Shade the Changing Man with them, which is one of the most trippiest comics you ever read. Hopefully, since we're getting
and the Creature Commandos
introduced to the Bat family, that Lego Batman and Tomorrow War of Fame gets his solo Nightwing movie. I think it's going to be a while before we get a Nightwing movie. If we ever
so the Creature Commandos were originally Sergeant Rock, a werewolf, a vampire, Frankenstein's monster, and a Gorgon.
Yeah, the original team: Warren Griffith, JAKE 2, Dr. Mariner Rhodes, Lieutenant Matthew Shreve, Private Elliot Lucky Taylor, and Sergeant Vincent Velcro. Vincent Velcro. That's just a cool name. I want that action.
Vincent Velcro. Yeah.
And then you have the monitor team. So yeah, this right here, this is the kind of stuff that is obscure. I think can work as long as it's being done within the backyard of the Trinity. And that's what I've always wanted. I didn't mind obscure characters being brought to the forefront. I just didn't mind. I just minded them being because I knew they were going to fail because people were, if you just did Creature Commandos on its own without any of the other slate, we're talking about somebody working at, delivering newspapers instead of running a studio because they're going to get fired. Okay, cool.
And new members of the team you have are, they're called M-Team Alpha now. You have Captain Lucius Hunter.
What's the publication?
They have their own book, Creature Commandos.
I'm going to bring it up.
They had their own book. You've got a mummy. You've got the Bogman, which is an amphibian, kind of like the Gillman from Black Lagoon. You have a cyborg called Gunnar Mackey, who's made a cyborg out of a soldier that died in World War II.
Of course he did.
You've got some like reptilian guys. Lots of weirdness in this team. And now they're in the New 52. You've got Frankenstein, Agent You've got Agent of Shade.
All right, here we go. Wow. That's a pretty neat book. Let's see. Let's bring it up. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. So yeah, let me share this on. This is one of the things that I got. William, what are your opinions on the original Black Dynamite? I think it's a classic. The original Black Dynamite. All right, hold on. Let's present, share screen. Too many steps. StreamYard, too many steps.
Oh, dude, they were mentioned in Flashpoint too.
Well, yeah, because they pre-exist too. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's what the modern day Creature Commandos look like. All right. Bring that one question up again, Stella. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I hope we get a Big Bertha movie for no particular reasons. All the totality. No one, almost. But James, please tell you, dude. James Gunn gave you a talking raccoon in Polka Dot Man.
That's so Big Barda, not Big Bertha. That's Big Barda, not Big Bertha.
You talking about the new gods, Big Barda, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Big Bertha is something else entirely.
Big Bertha is Marvel Comics. She's a mutant.
And Great Lakes Avengers.
Great Lakes Avengers.
John Byrne, there you go.
Yeah.
That was part of his run. I remember buying that off the rack. That was so fucking ridiculous. William Shaft and
I wanted to say something real quick about this Creatures Commandos thing now. Their current book is called Agents of Shade. You have Father Time, he's the leader of Shade. You have Dr. Ray Palmer, the Atom. You have the Frankenstein's monster. You have the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, that's the version we're getting in the show, by the way, or the movie.
You have Dr. Nina Mazursky, which is a mermaid hybrid, Gilman. You have Dr. Vincent Valcoro, a vampire. You have Warren Griffith, a werewolf. You have Kalis, a mummy who serves as a team medic. Oh, it's a mummy medic.
I get it.
It's a mummy medic. And then you have Matthew Shrive, a former POW with ties to the Commandos and the Robot Man during World War II.
Yeah.
So he's from the original group.
This could be really good. And the more I look at it, the more I think about it, this could be really good.
Oh, and you also have Weasel from the
yeah, I saw him. So there you go. Sean Gunn, you got another job. There you go, Sean. His brother. All right.
I liked Weasel.
Thought he was disgusting. William Shaft and Sexy Pam Grier as Foxy Brown are good films that I don't get it. 20 million films have a great chance of making. Like I said, you'd have to get the right director to do it. I mean, like I said, Eddie Murphy, it can be done, but a lot of 20 million, while it's not 100 million, it's still 20 million. And you just have to pry that money away from other projects. You have to, the process is long and arduous. Trying to tell a modern film financier, hey, here's my movie about, a 70s type detective, which is, like I said, back when Shaft was released, would have been a new thing, especially for Black folks, because that was a dawn of our coming into our own cinema. Since then, not only have you had remakes, but you had 1,000 different Black cops that have taken that role. See, the problem with remaking exploitation is the reason why exploitation was so successful is because Black folks, we weren't getting those type of roles. We weren't getting the headlines in the monster movies and in vampire movies. We weren't getting headlines in any of the gangster movies. We weren't getting headlines in any of the cop movies. So we sort of, created our own cinema and catered to us. Now, we've kind of gone through the cycle to where, we didn't have a Denzel. I mean, our Denzel Washington for those guys back then was Sidney Poitier, and he wasn't in a lot of movies. So the need for that we may not have a market because we've been spoiled. I would like to see it, but I think that, and if you're going to do it, ironically, it probably wouldn't be a Black guy that's probably going to do it. It's probably going to be Quentin Tarantino, because Jackie Brown is similar to a lot of the exploitation movies that comes from. So I agree with you, Darth. I just don't know in this day and era if we're going to get a studio to put even 10 million for it. And if there's a market for it, since we do, like I said, we had no Black directors back then. We have Jordan Peele now. We had nobody. We had no directors of color in that general area. Now I just went to a movie where Shyamalan's been working on, 10 movies. So it's a different these movies are classic and they're great. I just don't know if the atmosphere now calls for them to be remade. I mean, I could be wrong. I think Jimmy Olsen's going to be there because he's going to be balancing his act as a brand new reporter and being in a Superman. So Jimmy Olsen's a critical part in that. I think you would have seen Jimmy Olsen again because I don't think he was killed really in that, but that's a theory. But yeah, I think you will definitely see all the Superman. William Thade, where do you guys think James Gunn possibly debuts Dr. Manhattan?
Later, way later, if ever. If ever.
When he wants to, at the end, if he wants to reset his universe and give some shitty Jeff Johns reason of doing so, but I don't think anytime soon.
Doomsday Clock.
that fuck that series. At the end of it, it was a good series till I realized what he was wanting to do, and then I'm like, don't do this again, dude.
What was he wanting to do? That's my question. Like, what was he trying to do?
He was trying to do another reboot. Dr. Manhattan, because Dr. Manhattan was already screwing with realities and molding realities, and he had revealed in there that it was Dr. Manhattan that has caused rebirth and all that. It was him taking pieces of the universe and time. He had literally grown so big that he was outside of the universe manipulating things, and he was going to manipulate it one last time in Doomsday Clock. And they forced him, in my opinion, they never got evidence to this. In my opinion, involved in books that would have been affected by him doing this again said fuck no and went to the editor and said no. That's why it took so long for issue 12 to come out, in my opinion.
Yeah. To answer this question, maybe. All I know is that it's going to be a prequel, so I don't know if Diana's going to be a part of it. And by the time Diana gets her own standalone movie with Gal, she already has her full powers, knows how to use them correctly. Don't know if they're going to use Gal. He says that he spoke to Gal recently, but that doesn't mean she's going to be in the movies.
I'm leaning towards yes, but that I have no inside information on that. I just wanted listen, Blood and Sand. I want you guys to sit down and watch Blood and Sand and watch Game of Thrones. If you still don't tease me.
Tease me.
By saying Game of Thrones. And give me some Sesame Street level violence. Like I said, I'm not for gratuitous anything, but if it is part of the reality of the story, if we're talking Amazons and warriors, and like I said, just like 300, when you're talking about Spartans, you see how ripped up and sex appeal that those guys had, and just like Zack Snyder's Justice League, where the Amazons look like they should look.
Stella, can you bring up Bell's comment about Weasel again, please?
Oh, Bell and Weasel. That's scary.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. That was not comic accurate. James Gunn's Weasel is not comic accurate. He wasn't a meta.
Weasel. And he's like the last thing to survive. That was so fucking funny. I really did enjoy that movie, by the way. Even though
so is Spectre a gods and monsters type of superhero for James Gunn, or do you think he's Yes.
Yes, definitely yes.
The Spectre is the god of the DC universe for the most part.
Yeah, and the voice and all that stuff and the wall.
The only thing that's above the Spectre is the presence or whatever the hell they call their
voice.
God.
The voice.
The voice. Yeah. The only thing more powerful than Spectre is Lucifer. And the Endless. The Endless are stronger than the Spectre.
Yeah, the Endless are abstract. So.
Yeah.
Oh, we caught. Woo! Yay!
Woohoo!
See what happens when I don't fuck up the chat? You actually get some orderly shit that actually looks like somebody's hosting a YouTube show instead of me responding to you guys, getting mad about some silly shit that someone said, and then realizing that 20 lines down they said, "Oh, my bad. I see what you're saying," and I'm like, "Oh, now I've already fucking screamed at you." For 20 minutes.
They said that 900 years ago, William.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Oh, okay, you spelt it wrong or something. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is much better. So you guys, you can't see her on screen right now. She's backstage. She's part of the stream. It's Stella. She's in the chat and she's monitoring the chat and she's bringing up the chat so it's not so disastrous. You can clearly tell that it's not me.
I don't know if this is a dumb question. But would you guys think they debut of a villain like Brainiac or Anti-Life Equation during the Lantern series, or do they wait for Supergirl or Superman?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's the mystery. I think that's the mystery that the Lanterns, and I really, really, honest to God, think that Ray Porter, if you're listening, I think you're going to get a call if you haven't already got that call. I think the anti-life equation and all the same things that they were investigating before with the, everything that's associated with them, and then the secret of life that's been on Earth, the battle that's been fought. Hey,
I haven't seen that, dude. I have not seen Krypton in a while, man. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, so I think that you will see these things earlier on.
The presence, yeah, it's the presence, the voice, the presence, whatever. It's the one above all for DC. William, any chance characters like Intrigan would make it to the DCU? Of course.
Yeah. With James Gunn sitting in the captain's chair, you could get Alf. You could get fucking Alf from the TV show,
dude.
In the
do
show.
you know what's funny? I remember the poem that used to bring Intrigan from Jason Blood. Gone, O form of man, and rise the demon Intrigan, says Jason Blood of mortal birth, the springing part of hell to earth. For Intrigan, born in flames, and blood are truly one and same. Their fates entwined, and with the spell trade human form for king of hell.
Got me. Hey, go back to that question. What are you guys compare the new gods towards Eternals or Celestials in Marvel? Okay, so Jack Kirby creations, both.
All of them, actually. Eternals, Celestials, all of that's a Jack Kirby creation.
Yeah. And new gods, too. The new gods are, dude, the Celestials are different. They're actually a literal piece of functional piece of the universe called hypertime, and that's where they get their powers from, according to Reed Richards. The Eternals are basically what the new gods. It's him working on the new gods for DC and not finishing, and then coming back to Marvel, and that's where the Eternals pretty much came from. He basically took all the influences. So the new gods and the Eternals are very equal, because that's High Father, Zeus, and all that. So yeah, it was very that the comparison is because they're all created by the same guy. The Celestials being the wild card. All right. I'm ready for the next one, Stella.
Do we think?
Oh, we are caught up. Okay,
cool.
Yeah, see, somebody in Spider-Man is bringing up that Kirby never got a chance, never got to finish the New God, so he made the Eternals. Exactly what happened in the 70s, mid-70s, late 1976 to be exact. Okay, so let's get into what I've been excited about since Tuesday. On Tuesday, one of the things that James Gunn brought up to be making a Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow based on Tom King's, I think it was 8 issues I got here, miniseries. This series is amazing. Tom King is already, I love everything he does. I know people, there's mixed opinions. I love everything he does. To me, I'm going to say this outright, even amongst us Tom King fans might disagree with me, I think this is his best work.
The only thing that Tom King's done that pissed me off is he killed Alfred.
He kills who?
He killed Alfred.
Yeah, it didn't bother me. This is the alternate version of number 2, and we're going to bring up DC Infinite because, by the way, if you are not a subscriber to DC Infinite, you can actually Supergirl. This is Authority. We'll get to that probably later on. Superman, for his first issue of Superwoman or Supergirl, A Woman of Tomorrow, is actually free. You can actually read that for free on DC Infinite. So if you haven't subscribed yet, you can. This is issue 2. The artwork on the covers are great, but I'll bring up one here and here's issue is another variant for issue 2. And like I said, this is a totally extraterrestrial storyline. This is one of my favorites. This is number 7, the second to the last episode. I mean, these covers are beautiful that they made for them. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this last question, and I'm going to go into DC Infinite. Red Lanterns, Yellow Lanterns be the first villains, Green Lanterns. No. I really that's a good storyline to tell, but not outright, not out in the beginning. I think that's something that Sinestro, yes, but not the Red Lanterns and all that other stuff. But Sinestro was an early villain. I think that you should do. All right, let's do it. Let's get into. I
also have DC Infinite there, William.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a good service. hey, listen, when it comes to DC Infinite, I would much rather you walk through a comic book store and pick up the medium. But there are things that could keep you from doing that. These comics are now inflated because you got people that are going to inflate it. I saw it online for $100. So that's going to price out the normal folks that wants to get into the storyline. So you have things like DC Infinite, which we are going to bring up now. Who the heck is bringing up comments on the screen? Better not be AI. No, it's Stella. Stella's not AI. She's actually real. All right, here we go.
I've got mine up too, William, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right, resume issue 1. So there's the cover, number 1, the standard cover. This one's free. And we are going to... All right, that's this is the first issue. Like I said, this story. The beginning of the story is being told from the point of view. That's your cover, and that's your that's son of. I don't know why that's in there, but that's Son of Kal-El. I think there was an advertisement on one of the pages.
Yeah, that's the ad for Son of Kal-El.
Yeah, which is I hated that book. So there you go, and then this is her that's the girl's father. It's her the girl. This is her world being destroyed. First, her father dies. There's a thief, a criminal. You'll see him later on. He's all throughout. But this is how it starts out. It starts out with the telling of her. I love this breakdown of the way they did this. This reminds me of old Legion of Superheroes, where you didn't have the standard comic book panels, but you just had one shape telling each repeated story. This is her. This is the girl in question, finding out that her father's being killed. And this is, that sword, keep an eye on that sword. If you guys do read that comes up over and over again. That's her. And then I think this is where she kills a bunch of people. But I'm just going to flip through the pages because I want you guys to do this on your own. This is free right now. If you go to DC Universe right now, if you can't afford the $100 for the books, which I understand, you have to subscribe. It's $7.99 a month, but there are certain books on there that you can read for free. And Supergirl, Worlds of Tomorrow is one of them. The artwork in this is like, Tom King gets the best out of the people. Who did the art for this one? This one is Everly. I mean, this is the shades and the tones of this. So this story is like I said, is I wouldn't call it a coming of age story for Supergirl because she's already come of age. But because Superman's on Earth, he doesn't need her. She was originally sent there to protect the baby, but things happened and she didn't get there. And by the time she got there, Superman's a full-grown ass man who needs no protection. So her purpose is being called into question by herself. And so this is part of her journey, and this is who she crossed paths with. What I do like is no Earth, no nothing like this. This is a completely off-world storyline, which makes it different than a lot of different Superman stories that have been told, Supergirl or Superman. And this is the world that she's on. And like I said, you don't really even see Supergirl until this girl's world is pretty much destroyed. So, dude, here we go, back in here. But yeah, what I should have done is I should have had you guys on. And hey, look, ironically, look what else is here. And you can tell right now, this was not this way before. That's an awesome cover. This was not this way before. Since the announcement, DC Infinite has realigned everything so that when you come in, you can read certain books. It leads you to certain books, and they even have a community page. And I'll bring you guys to that too. That is, I almost removed you. Sorry.
Those are so
there's a community page that allows you. Yeah. That you can talk to other fans about, and they can help you build up a lot of ground. So stop screen and dude, StreamYard. This used to be so much easier. All right, it's called the DC Community. RJ bought it up on the other screen, and here you have. Am I up on there yet? Of course not. God damn it. There you go. I would highly recommend this, even if you are going to buy the paper medium and get in and go be guys like me. This thing is cool. It has a chat, general chat. It has the new comic releasings. It has a connection to DC on HBO Max. General discussion, chat boards, clubs, and events. Earth 2 Help Center. That's so that it helps you understand. And then you have it's hooked directly up to their Twitter. And then somewhere on there, it was giving you a direct connection to the stuff. Here you go.
Also, if you just happen to buy the year subscription to that, which is actually cheaper than going month per month, you get, if you're playing Gotham Knights, the video game Gotham Knights, you get a bunch of free stuff for that game.
Yeah, and it leads you directly to their Twitter page. I don't know if you can see this, that I'm doing this right. All right, but yeah, there's a point, and it shows you all the influences. And this page transformed immediately after he made his announcement, and it went to the Twitter page. Hold on. So let's see. Stop screen. It leads right to James Gunn's Twitter page, and but this is really cool, and I'll show you this. And this is what store owner is the fact that he just directly. I haven't tweeted about it, and he liked my tweet. Thanks, James, and thanks for making me a couple extra bucks here. Let's see. So here we go. So I thought this was cool. 10 more steps to share. So yeah. All right, where are we at? All right, these are more comics inspiring DC Studios and the new DCU in these early days. That doesn't mean we are adapting all these comics, but the feel, the look, or the tone of them are the touchstones for our team. Check them out. And obviously you have this is the one I use on my thumbnail. Superman. This is All-Star Superman. This is great. If you don't have to be buying a bunch of Superman comics to really enjoy All-Star Superman, you really could come in from out of the blue, in my opinion, and you could you can just be fine with this one. And I think that's why he used it. It is one of the most accessible forms of Superman. And this is the newer Authority. This is an omnibus. I'm actually going to get this in when it's out. Pledge Allegiance or Else. So it's about them, and it goes. It covers some of their. You see Midnighter, some of your older versions of these characters prior to coming into DC, and then after the New 52 when they were merged with DC. Batman's. This is another omnibus. And here's the thing, guys: if you cannot afford all these books that are going to get ballooned up in price or were already up in height, you don't even have to nearly get the omnibuses. Are expensive. In some cases, omnibooks are like $50 to $80. I'm getting a Fantastic Four omnibus for one of my customers. It's like $80, right? You don't have to do it that way. This is an omnibus right here for Grant Morrison's run. However, the best way, and I sell a lot of these here, trade paperbacks. You don't have to get an omnibus. You can get a $12 or $14 book. It gives you a big chunk. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go get one real quick.
The Comixology guys were talking about this the other day. That you can either buy you could buy the first 5 issues of a comic for like $5 a piece, or you can wait till the trade paperback comes out and pay $16 for the trade paperback instead of $25 for the 5 issues. If you just wait,
All right, I'm grabbing some stuff. Sorry, I get excited when I can actually go to the shelf and grab stuff versus when I'm at home and I have no reference. So after we get done with these, I'm going to show you the way to go here. So in this run for Batman is, I think, one of the best that they ever did. And here's the Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. Alan Moore Swamp Thing is great, and it is when you see we have the book now. They have a current version of Swamp Thing. It used to be Vertigo. Everything that was Vertigo back in the day is now DC Black Label. So you can get a lot of reprinted stuff, but it's all like Sandman. Sandman was Vertigo. It's DC Black Label, and you know how I feel about DC Black Label. So let's stop the screen here.
Well, I hate to tell you, Film Goblin, but he is using All-Star Superman. So,
and that's the right way to go because it's one of the few Superman that are like really accessible. All right, so here you go. So the Doctor Strange season 1. So this right here, I don't know. I don't think this is a separate story. I think this was covered. Yeah, here we go. So this covered a compilation of books called Season 1, and it brings them into one book. So this is just an example. This is a hardcover. It's $25, relatively cheap, but you don't have to go that route. You can go soft cover. Soft cover is going to give you about maybe $10 cheaper in most cases. If you're into Heroes, the Heroes comics that were released, this is Volume 1. They were released by DC Comics. Here's a collected edition. So instead of Heroes is something you probably get in cheap no matter what, but this is just an example of how if individual comics have ballooned up to out of your range, you can get something like this. This is about $30, right? Once again, you find yourself a soft cover, and it's going to be about 15 or $16.
Well, it's like I was saying, when you went to go get the stuff, like you could pay $5 an issue for these comics, or you can wait till the trade paperback comes out and it's like $16 to get all 5 issues that you would pay $25 for normally.
Superman Year 1 or Earth 1.
Yeah, that's a good story.
All right, so that even though I have, yeah, it's a great story. So even though I have these comics here, so I like for me personally, I have the entire Supergirl World of Tomorrow or Woman of Tomorrow. That's #1. That's the one that people are going to be ripping people off over. This #1 variant. I have them all. You can get. I also have the trade paperback around here somewhere. If I didn't already, I think I sold that today. There's a trade paperback. All these things that he's introducing to you, you can go to that same comic book store, buy those expensive issues, or you can just go ahead and get the trade paperback. And right now, all of us comic book store owners are going to have those trade paperbacks on the shelf because we want you to make that connection. Just because you enter the realm through a trade paperback doesn't make you any less of a comic book collector. Guess what? As you grow as a comic book collector, as your finances improve, you can go collector issues if you want to, but it gets you engaged in the story. And what he did this Tuesday is he's throwing a lifeline to people who, like I said, 70% of people who are going to dive into these comic book movies will never walk into a comic book store. He's changing that more so than any other comic book movie head I've seen. Feige did not do that. You know what? So he's bringing up specific storylines, and then Tom King and all these other guys are taking that baton and retweeting. And I saw Tom King signing a bunch of issues of Superman or Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow today because he had a bunch of them. Because quite honestly, when it came out, it didn't sell that great. But now it's selling out. So this is really a fun time for me because, like I said, I'm a comic book guy at heart. That is why I'm in all of this. And when I see the motion pictures that we talk a lot about, being led back, you remember I have it as seen on TV. I created that because I wanted to make the connection between the paper medium and the people walking in that only know Iron Man through, Robert Downey Jr. So, all right, let's go ahead and bring up some more chatties. I see Mount Film Goblin is erupted. All right, I'm ready, Stella. Hit me.
More comments, hon. More comments.
Oh, no comments? Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
William, do you have any Avengers comics from the late 70s and early 80s for sale? No, I don't. I have my collection at the house where I have some of the early 80s. A lot of my stuff was Starlin stuff because when Starlin was part of the Avengers and they were telling the Adam Warlock storyline, Avengers was part of that. So those are the oldest ones I have. I've sold off a lot of my other stuff. Not for sale on the store. No, sorry. I can get them on demand.
Do you have any slabs, William?
What's up?
Do you have any slabs, like personally slabbed comics?
Do I? I got 2. I don't do well with those here because of the way I've engineered my store is things that you don't have back in your home store because the majority of my business is tourists coming through.
Yeah.
The neighborhood stores have a lot more back issues when it comes into because they are literally you're 5 minutes away from there. You're not going to come 15 million. I have Crossed and I have a very old issue of Green Lantern.
Which issue of Green Lantern is that? And what's the
grade is 9.2. The issue it's a Gil Kane. It's number 49.
Ooh, Gil Kane. Oh, that's nice.
And Cross was a high-end series that came out quite a while ago. It's very violent. Wow. I got stuff from this series I can't even put out on the shelves until I build the different shelves that hide certain things.
Now, do you have any slabs personally yourself that are yours?
Yes. I have at the house. I don't even have it out. It's actually in storage. I have an Amazing Spider-Man 238, first appearance of Hobgoblin. I have Marvel. I have Miles Morales' first appearance, number 4, the Ultimate number 4. I have that. I have what do I have? I have mostly the Marvel stuff. I have a really crappy Hulk 181. I don't even know why I slabbed it. It's in bad condition, but I thought it was cool.
Well, the Silver Age, because I watch a lot of the guys that do the slab books nowadays on YouTube, and a lot of the Silver Age books, they're saying even low grades are selling like hotcakes right now.
Yeah,
Especially
that
181. That 181. What's the grade on it?
It's like a 5. It's really
Dude,
shitty.
That will bring you some cash right now because they're even selling out really good with 3s and 2s.
I saw somebody sell one on TV. I think my 5 was going to be disputed. Hold on, what's the price on a 5.5? I think 5.2. 5.2 graded Hulk 181.
That's the first Wolverine, right?
Yeah, one, and it's in like like I said, it's the edition. It's about 100 and okay, so yeah, this guy right here. So no, mine is yeah, somebody's looking for 4,000 on him, but I think mine I don't think he's getting that. I got to look at mine again because like I said, mine is in. First of all, I've been told that my grade is going to be a lot lower. Here to see at auctions. It draws. It's 1974. Yeah, so there's varying prices on it. Auctions got it. One guy has it about 1,000. So yeah, it's one guy has a 3.5 per sale for 3,000, but it's not going to move. So I got to go look at mine and see. But I would never even sell mine. I'd probably trade it for a good. I mean, I'm going to look at my grade. Yeah, see, there's a guy here that has one, but like I said, that's his asking price is 3,324. Your asking price, and this is what I've learned the hard way. Your asking price and what you're getting, I'm guessing mine will be around 1,500 because I don't even think it's a 5. I think it's like it's in really shitty condition.
And my dad used to tell me what a book is worth and what you can get for it are two different things.
Yeah, I think if at a high end, and I think I had mine appraised at about maybe 1,100 max, but it's and I'm gonna have to get it. I don't think my grade is gonna help it because I don't think the grade was done right.
My dad and I used to do slab books and stuff, so we used to.
I see that process now. That's not the process I went through. So yeah. Thade and William, what did DC have enough of supernatural pantheon of villains and superheroes?
He's wanting to know, do you think you could justify a whole phase for supernatural?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's enough supernatural heroes and villains where you can where you'd have your own, a phase for the supernatural side. Yeah. I mean,
I don't know how successful it will be, but yeah, you can do it.
More hit adaptations will go and try to adapt.
You know what? All right, listen here. I absolutely adore Alan Moore's work. I absolutely loathe his attitude when it comes to adaptations. It's not yours anymore, dude. Granted, yes, you have an opinion, but his attitude towards his adaptation, and some of his adaptations have been absolutely stunning. V for Vendetta, Watchmen. I mean, even and who's his partner on that? His partner, Gibbons. Gibbons is like, I'm all for it. When they did the Watchmen series and the movie, I don't want to consult on that, but fine. All right. Dave Gibbons is like, I'm there, man. Because he's useless. So he was a consultant on even the Watchmen series. Anyway, I don't understand why. If I were a creator of something, I would love to see how other people interpreted my thinking, because that, to me, we're speaking the same language. I want to hear how you view my creation through your eyes. That would be the most flattering thing ever. He's just a curmudgeon, man. You know, I don't understand his attitude.
I completely agree with you. I do not like his attitude.
But his work is bar none. But dude, lighten up, man. I mean, do you understand your place in all of this is a great place to be in? I mean, oh well, but yeah, he hates that sensation. But yeah, yes, you do have enough people to do a pantheon. All right, are we? Oh yeah, Anthony. Oh, I'm sorry. Go back. Here you go. I got it back. Thane William. The way that gun. By the way, it's two ends, and Saffron are describing what they are going to grow. I think the first villain we get would be either Zod or Bizarro. I would say this, if they're not going to use Brainiac for a Superman movie, I don't know if they are or not, then you should use them for this. But there's a lot of cool ass enemies you could bring in for Supergirl. And when you put her, if you do like Tom King did and put her in outer space and villains that don't even know what Earth is, even better. Okay. Dude, don't ruin my night by getting me something that I can't get yet, because I really want to watch my superhero. Seeing Comet the Super Horse Woman of Tomorrow comics was saying, yeah, oh yeah, dude. What issue was that? Hold on, stall for me, Fade. I'm gonna find that. Comet the Super, because she's got crypto in there. Dude, this comic is bloody, man. Where was... I can't find where that was at. Damn it. I'll break it down and bring up all... When we're going to do a deep dive into Woman of Tomorrow, as we get closer to it. I just watched some TV series yesterday. I was interested in the fact that it's a sequel from the comic Squid. What are your guys' thoughts? I thought that was excellent. I understood and completely agreed with Zack Snyder not using it, because in order to tell the Squid story, you needed to be able to tell a backstory leading up to it. And you didn't have enough time. Whereas in the series, you had 9 episodes to tell the Squids. They build up from beginning all the way to when and I love the fact that the series shows you the night that it all happened, and that careless whisper, all that. The guy who asked me the question about the Super Horse, what issue of that series was it? I don't want to untape all of them yet, but I know that was hilarious. I know that was somewhere. Underrated DC superhero villain that you guys think would like to see in live action form from the comics. Phantom Stranger. Or the Question. Phantom Stranger or the Question. If I got one of those, I'd be happy.
I just dropped a link for Brodan, the channel that Brodan and I have.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
So there you can actually see my horror movie review, Dark Realms review.
Brodan's a miserable human being, by the way. Hey, I'm going to warn you guys. Brodan is a miserable human being. I'm just kidding.
He can be.
Go back to that one.
Also, I just want to say, anybody who wants to contact Brodan, you can contact me to get to Brodan, because Brodan doesn't have Twitter. So,
or you can go to a bridge and wait under it and scare all the little goats that go across it. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine if James Gunn directed 2 super movies. He's definitely going to direct one, in my opinion. I think he has to direct the first one. I don't see any way around that. This is your universe. This is your ass on the line. This is your legacy. You need to write and direct the first one. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do all these other movies. You know, you set the tone, but you have to set the tone, the narrative tone, the cinematic tone. That is your impression on this universe. And from that point, you're setting the example of what you want and how you want things to be. So he definitely has to do that. Legion of Doom needs to make an appearance in DCU. They've been, because you don't have enough narrative time to do so. You may have that narrative time here. You don't have a lot of time to tell a story sometimes. And that's where the problem with the MCU is just, kind of becoming a lot of dead weight, is because there's just so many fucking characters and not enough time to tell a good story for any of them. That's why I don't want Miles Morales ever in the MCU. He's just going to be a piece of lettuce on an already cluttered salad, Your thoughts?
I've never really been that fond of Miles Morales. So.
All right. Well, that's it for Thade. No, I'm just kidding. Said in there. I resisted the urge to make you disappear. See, you.
Well, no, I'm probably going to get canceled for that comment. So,
Go ahead.
And no, I don't have a problem because of Miles' color or anything like that. I'm just not fond of the character. In the current run of Trinity in the comic books right now, is there a logic loop that you wish the writers would explain that is very confusing? Not that I can think of. There's nothing really that confuses me going on right now.
Yeah, not now. I mean, there was a point in time where you were literally printing out and publishing comics to explain the bullshit, things that you just did with 52, Flashpoint, Infinite Crisis, all these things. You literally were publishing things to explain to people what you just did, because the story just couldn't do it. So yeah, there you go. But not now. No, I think we're good now.
Do you think Lex Luthor works better with Superman Legacy or Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow? Superman Legacy.
Both. I think I would like to see Supergirl face more off-world cosmic people. So I think Lex Luthor works with her, but I would like to see her face. Like I said, when we do Woman of Tomorrow, you'll see what kind of villains are in there, and those are the kind of villains I would rather see her do.
I would rather see her with Brainiac.
Yeah, if they don't use him for Superman, that would be a very good decision.
And so we're caught up again.
All right, cool. Wow, it's weird being caught up. But yeah, man, this is a fun time, guys. This is a fun time. Regardless to how you feel about the slate, it's time to get excited about these things. I want the world to come in here, and I'll make it. If you are a comic book store owner and you're watching this, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I know there are some things out there I can get a lot more money for. I just don't. I don't want a one-time customer. And the thing that ever since December of '94, my first day open, the one thing that I have told myself, this is what I'm going to do, no matter how long I'm in this business. I'm not going to sell a book. I'm going to sell you a story. If I sell you a comic book, it's just an item. It's paper, it's staples, inside some plastic. If I sell you a story, you're set on a path that you and I both grow. I grow as a dealer because I'm constantly lining things up for you, and I'm constantly figuring out what you want, and we have that communication going. You grow as a reader because you have now been started on this path that branches off into wherever you wanted to go. So when these people come into the stores, and they're getting into these stories, sell them the story, sell them the history of it. You could sell them a comic book about Green Lantern, but there's a whole, get them a trade paperback of Emerald Dawn or Emerald Twilight. Get them going in the direction of the story of the Green Lanterns. Don't just sell them an issue of Green Lantern, sell them the story of Green Lantern. So I think this is a really, really good time, because now we see these stories are being told on screen. These guys, yeah, we know it's a comic movie, but they haven't been coming in that regard. So it just opens the door. I'm just gleeful that it's opening the door to people who knew these books were out there but didn't feel any sense of urgency to go make the connection, and now they are. So I'm really happy in that regard. All right.
Hold on a second, William. Somebody mentioned this particular comic. There we go.
Oh,
Swamp
yeah.
Thing number 53.
Is that a Bernie Wrightson cover?
Yeah.
Oh, I have that.
Alan Moore story, Bernie Wrightson cover.
I have that. Hey, dude, Wrightson. Look at the covers to Swamp Thing, even the pre-Vertigo Swamp Thing, the covers of Swamp Thing, where he would do some crazy, creepy things with the covers of Swamp Thing. It would always be Swamp Thing, but he would be one of them had the clouds. He had a biplane flying through the clouds, and the clouds were shaped as a Swamp Thing's face. I love that cover. I have that cover here, and even the newer covers of Swamp Thing. Hold on for a second.
While William's gone grabbing comics, I would like to reiterate, like Stella's saying here. If you guys have a question, please put Q or question in front of your question so we can know to look for that. Because sometimes you guys swamp us with questions and we have to go back and search for them. Please, 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 we say this every episode. Put the Q in front of your question. That way it's easier for us to see it, because that's a visual cue. Help Stella out.
What's that?
I was telling them to put a Q in front of their questions so that we can see those first.
Okay, so this is the new Swamp Thing. The new Swamp Thing themselves is not Black Label, but it is it's still cool. So
you want to know what I think is gorgeous here lately? I'm going to show you what my favorite thing here recently is.
Hoodie on Infinite? Oh, yeah.
These covers right here.
That's a steel cover? I have those. Those are cool.
Are amazing.
It's a really great story, too.
The Dark Knights of Steel. That is so amazing. The artwork in those books is so amazing.
It's an underrated story, too.
I am loving this one so much. This book right here, I'm loving that book so much.
It's a good seller, but I don't think it's. I think it should sell a lot more, but I think it will now. I think a lot of these books will. So in the future, by the way, guys, I'm going to set up. I have another camera. I should have thought about this. I'm going to set up another camera where I can just place the comic and it's on its own screen. But I'll do that next week. Here's one of the covers. This is number 5 of the miniseries that just came out.
Oh, dude,
that is a beautiful cover.
Dude, that Swampy is cool, man.
Yeah, and they always did these covers. Bernie Wrightson's passed away since then, but these covers are done in the spirit of what Bernie Wrightson was doing. See how the vines are going from him and they create the word Swamp Thing? And here's him fighting his brother.
Dude, Swamp Thing is such an underrated character.
Yeah. Not anymore. I got people coming in asking about this too. These are the alternate, the variant covers, and there's version covers too that don't have the thing. This is my favorite cover of Swamp Thing from this run, and I think
that's not Marvel Legends. If it's Marvel Legends, then it's a Man Thing. That's a cool cover. William, do you have the Swamp Thing Marvel Legends? That would be DC Legends, or it would be Man Thing from Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I have the Man Thing one from a while back. Here's the Suicide Squad. So there's your connection there.
Oh,
and that's the Suicide Squad that we recognize too, because that's
seriously
the helmet that John Cena wears.
He's such an underrated character. The Swamp Thing. I love the Swamp Thing.
And then there's another of the variant ones. Yeah, I love the color.
I like Man Thing. I like Man Thing at Marvel better, but I like the Swamp Thing too.
Well, Man Thing's a little bit more of a personality, and there's if you can see closely, that's Peacemaker's helmet. And then they would always just do covers like this. I mean, these covers, and the artwork inside isn't bad either. I mean, artwork inside is old Vertigo type, a little bit more color. The color bleed in these, if you ever go back and read the old Swamp Thing stuff, you'll see that the color bleeds were a lot different, even in Sandman. There's Sandman and an Atomic Bomb. And for those of you, whoever, I think Bell Rev brought up the connection between Poison Ivy and Swamp Thing, and there you go. And this series covers it. So
Okay, so the Spider-Man says Man-Thing predates Swamp Thing by a month.
And hey, listen, a lot of these were copying each other. That was what was going on when these characters were created. Thanos, Darkseid, they even admit that they did it. When your editor will call you in the office and say, "You see what the other company's doing? I need you to do something like that." And a lot of times
so
they
Swamp Thing came out. His first appearance is House of Secrets number 92 in July of 71, and Man-Thing from Marvel. His first appearance was Savage Tales number 1 from May of 71. So yeah, he is correct. About a month and a half.
Yeah, and these guys are talking to each other. All right, back to the questions. Now that I've shown you all my covers.
Okay, so we have Stella, bring up that Anthony Manzano from 118. Okay, thoughts. I want to see what James Gunn can do with the is that the Cyborg Superman or the Android? Because there is one or the other. If you're talking about the Cyborg Superman, that would be cool.
I'm gonna pass on that.
You don't like Hank Henshaw?
Nah.
All right. Numbers here says, did you ever read Scott Snyder's run on Swamp Thing? I have not, but I'm playing catch up right now.
I think I have those. I don't think I have not read them now.
And we are caught up again until the next question.
So yeah, man, this is just a good time to be a comic book geek, to be honest with you.
Hey, William, are you getting a lot of people wanting to go see Shazam 2?
No.
Nope.
Not yet. I hope that changes.
Larry,
it's just not
Larry,
that kind of person.
By the way, Larry,
I love Pepper Superman.
Kyle Gunslinger, how you doing? Thade, you're right. It's the Man-Thing. My bad, my brother. Yeah, Man-Thing.
Yeah, we got what you meant. Yeah.
Yep, the Man-Thing.
Such a different character as far as different compared to anything. I mean, I was really thrilled to see him in that Werewolf by Night thing.
He's more of a comedic character than Kyle Gunslinger, Path of the Beam, my friend. Is the Sandman going to fall under Elseworlds? Yes.
I'm gonna assume yes.
Because they are doing a second season from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Are we excited for any DC films? Yes.
The new ones are the ones that are coming out, or the ones that he announced? The ones that he's coming out, only the Flash because of the ramifications. The new ones coming out, like I said, I'm excited about Green Lantern. I'm excited about Paradise. I'm excited about half of the projects.
Okay, so I've got a question myself.
No.
The Lantern show. Which Lantern group would you like to see enemy-wise face the Green Lanterns first?
Group? Wow, that's a tough one. I mean, Sinestro is an obvious one.
I want to see Dave Bautista play Atrocitus.
Wow, that's a good. I'd have to think because I know where they're starting at, type of like the level of was Green Lantern, but when they first built the core together, to me everything keeps coming back to Apocalypse. But I don't know. Mordru. I mean, there's a lot of characters. I mean, wow, you could go in a completely far Green Lantern. You could give him an enemy that's not necessarily, a Green Lantern. So you got Krona, you got Black Hand. I don't ever want to see Parallax in a fucking movie. Please don't do that.
Ooh, Krona would be a nice enemy.
What's up?
Krona would be a nice enemy.
Yeah, Chrono. Let's go. 10 vilest Green Lantern writers ever on MTV. She put this out. All right.
Taking with a show on Netflix, where do you guys see a live-action Lucifer Morningstar debuting in Gods and Monsters or in the Supernatural phase? Supernatural phase, if
ever.
I would see him happening on the Netflix
Manhunters
show.
is a good one. To answer the Green Lantern question, Manhunters. Manhunters is a good enemy.
Manhunters would be good. Yeah, Manhunters would be good.
Yeah,
I think people still believe DC is stringing them along. It's possible.
Say that again. They still believe DC is what?
Film Goblin said, I think people still believe DC is stringing them along. You're going to have some opposition.
No, I don't think so. I remember we're not flies on the wall, so we don't know what the contract's going on with her. So
I want Sinestro to be a hero and then be a traitor. I would rather see Sinestro start out as a hero and then change through this show.
I'm exact opposite. I would rather see him as a villain, and then they explain how he became a villain. I would rather see him with the yellow ring first and then tell the flashback story. William, it's been nearly 50 years since we got our first live action Superman movie. And we still don't have a proper Superman trilogy. Will we get a Super trilogy in our lifetime? Your best shot is going to be this one right here, because it's the newest thing, it's the current thing. But once again, we're getting excited about all this, and there's rightfully so. But understand, there's a group of people who are not fanboys like us, and they're shareholders. So I don't know how they're going to respond to a mediocre box office, which I think may end up happening, because a lot of people, when you start with Superman, you have to grow an audience, and it's going to take some time. So we may get a trilogy, we may not. It's all going to be up to them. So.
Okay, go one up here, Hun, to the numbers guy here. As the story goes, at the time that the writer Lin Wen was coming up with Swamp Thing, his roommate Jerry Conway had put Man Thing on the page over it. That would be a month previous, not a year. But yeah, you are correct there. All right, down to Manzano. Are there overpowered characters in DC you think are too overpowered to work in live action? No. I hate when people say there's characters that are too overpowered. No.
There are characters that are overpowered, but you can make, like, the Spectre is way overpowered, but you could make him work. He has too much power, but if you have a good writer, like I said, they created a Spectre comic book that ran and had good stories in it.
Do you remember when Hal Jordan was the Spectre?
Yeah, I was trying not to bring that up. I hated that run. I hated what they did with Hal Jordan when they brought him back as Parallax. I understood why they did it, and I agreed, because they didn't want to kill him off that way, and then that was the way to kill him off. Because remember when they replaced Hal Jordan with
what's up, with Rhea? How you doing?
It was a how you doing, Rhea? A big controversy. That was my first year open, is when they did that.
Perpetua is OP, yes.
So no Batista playing Bane. Bane as a character sucks. I don't want anyone else playing Bane. But anyway, back to the Green Lantern thing. When they replaced Hal Jordan, the only reason why they created him Parallax is because they needed to either kill him or make him a villain that you couldn't root for in order to get behind Kal Rayner. So, but yeah. No Bane. Please, James Gunn, if you're watching, please, of all the rogues gallery that Batman has, please skip Bane. And please go see Knock at the Cabin, and tell me that you want to waste Bane on that character, or waste Dave Bautista on that character.
Are you surprised we're getting a Paradise Island television show and not your standard Wonder Woman film? No. In fact, I look forward to that. Go down to CPO's comment there, huh? Darth CPO, 2 down. William, how are so many people excited about James Gunn when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 sucked big panda balls? I disagree. I like Guardians 2. Guardians 2 is much better than 1.
I hated Guardians 2. I thought it was cliche. I thought there were some good elements in it, but not good enough for what I paid to go see it. But here's the thing. Everybody has a day at the office that I don't enjoy. Some of my favorite directors have movies I don't like as much as the others. So I don't just because the Guardians, you got to understand that Guardians of the Galaxy was done within a pre-made infrastructure that he existed in. He's the man now. He gets to do what he wants and how he wants it, and he's dealing with a different set of characters. I think the James Gunn that worked at Marvel is not going to necessarily be the same guy that runs DC. Worked for and runs are two different things. So I think it's not fair just because he had a mediocre movie or a mediocre outcome that you should be excited about. What he's going forth with. I mean, he got me excited just with the 6 minutes that he gave me.
William, are adult superhero films a thing of the past? No.
Especially with this guy running shit. They're very much like we just discussed. Amazon's. I think if it's done right, it's going to have everything that a kid probably shouldn't see. All right, but they will when they use those characters in the common universe where it's PG, they will make adjustments. But when you're on HBO Max, that's going to be adult. You're going to see scantily clad women with a bunch of muscles beating on guys and subjugating guys and cutting their others' heads off. So no, I don't think there's a thing of the past. All right, question: is there a villain that you guys are? Go ahead.
Is there a villain that you guys are afraid that DC might turn into an anti-hero that never really had a storyline that turned him into a hero, or for a TV show or a movie for the new DC universe? No, not really.
Fucking Lobo.
Who
was a joke of a character to begin with, but hey. Sorry, Keith Giffen, if you're watching this, I love your work. You are Legion of Superheroes to me. But you created some boneheaded characters I've had no use for. You had no use for. You created Lobo and didn't even use him for 10 years. And only brought him back as a joke. And then people were like cynical at that time. So they were all for joke characters. And that's why Lobo has a future. But here you go.
William M. Tate, I'm curious about this. At what point do you think James Gunn will directly comment on the Snyderverse push, whether the Netflix idea or the general calls for it? I think he's going to get out his slate first and maybe talk about it.
I think
I agree. He's made some hints, but there's nothing like, concrete at this point.
I agree, and I think the reason why is because I think some of the things he's doing lines up with the Snyderverse or the previous DCU in a way that if he can't really talk about it because some of the stuff I think is going. I'm going to make a bet that a lot more of verse or the previous DCU is going to make its way into a re-engineered DCU more than we really understand or know. I think he's not flushing everything down the toilet. I think there are certain aspects of the story. It's going to be, if you want to get a good understanding of what James Gunn is doing as far as the timeline goes, and as far as alternate universe goes, watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, the episode of yesterday's Enterprise. That's what's happening here. So I think there's a lot of the stuff that we like that are still going to be intertwined in what he has going forward.
I want to comment on what Film Goblin says right here really quick. You're killing me, Thay. Guardians 2 was garbage and not as good as the first movie. Remember earlier when I said opinions are subjective?
Yeah, all film is
what's going on here. Everybody has a right to their own opinion, whether you like it, somebody else might not. So that's how I'm going to answer that.
I will agree that it wasn't as good as the first movie, but like I said, I'm on the screen with somebody who thought otherwise. We saw the same movie, so it's just that simple.
As for this one right here, this Jason Hector Gonzalez guy, he hasn't said anything bad here yet, so we're not going to take this advice just yet. When he becomes a problem, we'll get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't know his history on any other screen. Next
question, babe. There's one up. Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yes, I have seen that, and no, we're not going to discuss it here.
Yeah, we're on Enosh is a pastor. We're on Enosh. We're on the Poindexter Lounge. We are on the Poindexter Pantheon show. I don't even know if I would discuss Flash Gordon on my own channel. So yeah, I seen it though. Answer that part of the question. Next.
The Manzano question, honey. Is there a director for a successful Marvel movie that you guys would want to see directed in the James Gunn DC universe for a show or a movie? I wouldn't mind seeing the Russos do something DC. I think they could handle it.
Yeah, it would be the Russos for me as well.
Just keep the woman who did the Eternals away from DC.
Hey, Chloe Zhao, she's an Academy Award winner. How are you going to keep her away? I would love to have her. What are you talking about?
Okay, fine. Do not give her anything that's
Listen,
What is the word
Eternals
for?
is only the beginning. There's a much larger scheme
Don't
to
give
what
her.
Eternals are about.
Don't give her an ensemble film. Then give her a single character to work on, and she'll be fine.
I thought she
She
was
doesn't.
fine in Eternals, but hey.
Eternals is pretty. The storyline, however,
Well, they took liberties like making them androids, and like I said, when I hear
Look, that
the
doesn't
judge talking, I'm like, oh no.
that doesn't even bother me. The fact that they made them androids, that's not what bothers me. What bothers me is they took and changed the motivations for some of the Eternals, and that bothers me.
Well, that
Icarus is
wasn't her
not
though. That was
Icarus is not a monster.
no. That was Feige. That's in the people he hired to do the screenplay. That's him, not Chloe Zhao though. But I understand why you would hate. All right, who should direct the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow movie? Wow, I have
Actually, no. Here, I will give you this. Chloe Zhao could do that.
Chloe Zhao could do that. Guillermo del Toro could do that. Denis Villeneuve could do that.
I want Guillermo del Toro to do Swamp Thing.
He can have him do multiple movies. Matt Reeves could do that. I would love to see. If you read Woman of Tomorrow, the way Matt Reeves did Batman, I could see him doing Woman of Tomorrow. So there you go. How about Chloe? Yep, I would take her in a heartbeat, man.
Chloe Zhao for that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, that she would do fine with that. Just not like too many characters. Don't put too many characters on her shoulders.
Well, you would have to see what she does out from under the MCU, only doing what they gave her to do. It's not like she made those decisions. She didn't write the screenplay. I mean, even if she's credited for it, trust me, King Feige. Okay, next.
All right, bring up the Scipio there. 50-50, the cocaine bear does a Michael Jackson moonwalk. William, start putting my stuff in Scipio's corner, okay, buddy?
Dude, don't be bullying me. You don't even say please when you're demanding shit.
Well, he's
50-50
a
cocaine bear.
Roman.
Yeah, whatever. Under. He's gonna do some wild shit in this movie, but
Dude, I saw I saw some trailers for that movie today. It's weird.
he's
But
running up
it's
that
a
beach
true
trying to
story,
pick up-
though. It's a true story, though.
Yeah, but okay. The bear ingested the cocaine. True story over. He dies. That ain't no fun. What we're gonna see in cocaine cowboy. I almost said cocaine cowboy. Cocaine bear is much more. No, you paid to say that. You paid $2 to Enosh to say that. Why? I could have told you that was a bad idea for free. Listen, no. All right. Now, all week long, I've been saying that there is a far, okay, yeah, maybe I'll think about it. Far more superior character that Dave Bautista could play at this point in his acting career. I'm gonna give a chance. I'll give you then you can guess too. But there's a character that would not be a waste of his talent like Bane would be.
Atrocitus. I think he could play Atrocitus.
Now, who is it? Don't tell me. Oh, what did she say? Don't tell me what?
That person. She had to time out the person that was telling us to block certain people.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we don't get to know that. James Mangold's the guy he gave me Wolverine. All right, can anybody guess who I would who I want Bane or not Bane? Ugh. Who I want Dave Bautista to play? Anybody?
Who? Clayface?
No, not Clayface. I'm gonna bring him up here. Don't say anything, say, because you're probably gonna see this on the screen before. Does anyone read me some of the guesses? Are anybody's guessing? Or are they just all?
Somebody said Swamp Thing.
No, that would be a better. That would be a better.
Somebody said KG Beast.
No. Wow, you guys! I thought you guys would get this.
Hugo Strange.
Nobody got it yet?
No.
Hold on. All right. This character that I think, not Hugo. Hugo's actually a good one. Hugo's Bolo, no. The character that that Dave Bautista needs to play, if he plays, okay, here we go. If he plays anybody, is going to be. Oops, hold on, I didn't do that right. Don't say it there because it's going to pop up on your screen first.
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay. Anybody guess it yet? Nobody? Matt Mongol? No, not Mongol. Hold on. All right, here we go. I really am starting to loathe the way StreamYard has done this because I could do it in a snap before. You guys will guess it.
The way that they screwed up the share?
Yeah. Man-Bat? No, not Man-Bat. Not Mr. Freeze. The person who I think he should play is that guy.
Ross?
Yes.
Dude, he could play Ross.
He is at the level right now that intellect-wise, if any of you guys have followed Dave Bautista's character all the way through, he has played thoughtful characters that could thinking man's characters, not muscle-bound goons. He could play that, of course, obviously. That's stereotypical. If he played character, Ra's al Ghul, that's who Dave Bautista should play. And if you don't think he can play that character, go watch Knock at the Cabin. Go watch Blade Runner 2049.
Dude, he could play. He could play Ross, dude.
He would be the best person. This is the role I want to see him in. I don't want to see him playing some muscle-bound goon just because he's 6'4", 265 with muscles.
Look how he plays. Look how he plays. Drax. Even Drax is not just a muscle-bound goon. He thinks for himself, dude.
This is no, Bill. You're fired. You're fired. This would be a perfect. Liam Neeson. He would do better than Liam Neeson.
What about
who's a great actor, but he wasn't fit for that role.
What about Ra's al Ghul for Vandal Savage? Dave Bautista for Vandal Savage. That would work too.
I really like him as Ross. I mean, I think he could. I'm looking at some of the pictures right now because Ra's al Ghul has muscles. He is very formidable, but he's not. That's not what he's known for.
No, dude. Have you ever seen? You probably haven't because you don't play video games. But the start of Gotham Knights, the video game, when Ra's al Ghul kills Batman, Jesus Christ, he's huge. He's smart. Absolutely huge.
And I really do think we need to see him because obviously, if you're going to give me Damian Wayne is his grandson. So Dave Bautista, if you're watching this,
Batista is an older man.
I'll go back. Okay, hey, go back to that. Go back to that. Mount William. All right. So before we ban Levon, I'm just kidding. That would be the most insane casting idea ever. But I thought you were against me. Okay, everybody who's against me is getting timed out. But hell, I'd actually love this idea. My only criticism is Ra's al Ghul would be bald. Dave, no, Dave can grow hair. He has hair. I mean, there's roles where he has hair. Yeah, a makeup artist. He could do it. I would like a bald. There is versions of Ra's al that's bald that doesn't necessarily have that hair. I got pictures of those, you know.
Dude, they could do the facial hair and leave it bald. That would be cool.
Yeah, he has short hair, or he can. Yeah, dude, he can play that character. Dave Bautista could play Ra's al Ghul. Dude, stop giving him the meathead roles. He's not a meathead. He could act.
Every time Ra's al Ghul comes out of a Lazarus pit, he's huge, guys. Like freaking huge.
Yeah. Vandal Savage is good, but Dave Bautista's 54 years old. I want him to play the best roles available to him now. And to me, Ra's al Ghul is to me, and this isn't just me fan casting. It is me fan casting, but it's not at the same time. The tone and the cadence in his voice, all the things that Bautista has worked on to become what he's become, to become believable. When I was sitting in that theater Tuesday night, I believed him. I believe it's fantastical. is as the situation that they were in Knock at the Cabin. Everyone in that movie was believable, but he was the most believable, right down to the last. He was the most believable character, and he this would be a challenge for him. I could see him meeting this moment. So that is my character. I don't want to hear any more Bane. Bane is an insult to Dave Bautista. Just get the big, strong guy with the muscle head to play him. Even though Bane is over-exaggerated, he's supposed to be the smartest brilliant Batman. He knows 10 languages. They just be. I hate Bane because they created a bullshit villain to basically. They didn't create a villain. They said we need somebody that can break Batman, and they just basically filled in the dots there. I hate Bane, but I also hate interpretations of Bane because I think what I dislike about Bane actually gets worse as you put him in the live action. But Ra's al Ghul is such an intellect. He's such an intellectual enemy on a much higher level. I mean, and the respect that he has for Batman. He never calls him Batman. He knows who Batman's real name is. What does he always call him? Detective. This is the casting that if James Gunn, if you are watching, who knows? If you are watching this is who I think could be the best Bane.
I have a question, William, and it's Anthony Manzano's question here.
Go ahead, man.
Can you go up to the Anthony Manzano? There you go. Since you don't want Batista for Vandal Savage, who do you think should play Vandal Savage or could play Vandal Savage? Because he's a more important character than people think they give him credit for.
He is. Let's see.
Vandal Savage is immortal, by the way.
You could get a lot of people to play him. Hell, you could get anybody to play him, to be honest with you. I mean, I see Keanu Reeves here. Keanu Reeves would make a good Vandal Savage because Keanu Reeves is immortal. He just doesn't age. I could see anybody. I could see anybody playing him. I could even see Chris Pratt playing him. And I know people are going to laugh at that, but anybody who laughs at that has not heard of the thing called special effects and makeup effects and practical effects. You can make anybody anything. But I'd go with just for the pure look of it. I could see Keanu Reeves, Carl Urban. I could see all those.
Ooh, Carl Urban would play a good Vandal Savage.
All right.
Because Vandal Savage is over 10,000 years old. He started out as a caveman called Oog.
Yeah. I just would rather. I mean, like I said, I could do other things. I can relate to Clayface, but I'm not an actor. And what did she say? I'm not an actor. What?
I relate to Clayface. I'm not an actor, but I'm vain.
Okay.
Well, actually, Belle, there was a female Clayface.
Yeah, there's 6 different Clayfaces.
7. There's 7 Clayfaces.
7.
I don't. Was the first.
Okay, go ahead. Now, how would Ra's be introduced in the DCU as a main villain for a Batman movie?
Or a Justice League movie like Tower of Babel.
Or Justice League movie like Tower of Babel. No, you would introduce him in the Batman family movie that you're doing.
Yeah, you'd introduce him
his
in
grandson,
the movie where you've got Damien.
Yeah, you also have his daughter in there too. You have to have Ra's in there.
James McAvoy for Vandal Savage. That might work.
That could work, yeah.
Ooh, Fassbender. Even better. Michael Fassbender for Vandal Savage.
Yeah. I open it. I would love him for that role. And he's one of those actors I'm going to see his movie. I'm going to see the movie no matter what the genre is. I had no
Fassbender?
Glass Onion. I watched Glass Onion because Batista was in it. That's just me.
What's your opinion of Michael Fassbender?
He's one of the greatest actors of his generation. He is so good that if it would 12 Years a Slave, I wanted to fucking kill him. I wanted to kill him. All right. There are scenes, if any of you seen, as a person of color, especially a black person, knowing our history, I know I'm watching something that's 200 years old. And he's not. I wanted to split Michael Fassbender's head down the middle. He was that good. And that scene, you all know what scene I'm talking about. I almost destroyed my TV. It sent chills down my spine, and I was so angry and so full of hate for him. And I had to remind myself, that's Magneto. That's Magneto. That's David. That's David the android. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. But when you do a movie like that, that's so done so well, and he plays that character, that slave, I wanted to fucking kill him. And if I ever meet him, I'm like, dude, you did such a great job that I wanted to snap your neck at one point, figuratively. That's how great Michael Fassbender is. He's one of the greatest actors of his generation, if not any generation. So yeah. All right.
My favorite character I've ever seen him play was Magneto. His Magneto, when he's sitting there, trying to move the satellite dish in first class.
Yeah, he's good in Magneto. His most convincing one was 12 Years a Slave, but his my favorite one is that one too. No, Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul to me is the alpha. That's the alpha enemy with the things he has at his disposal and who he is, what he is. I know Vandal Savage is a kick-ass enemy, but for me, it's got to be Ra's.
Larry, go to Larry Kordowitz's comment. Have you guys seen the movie Frank? Fassbender wears a paper mache head for almost the whole thing and sings in it. Amazing film.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
I don't think I have, but I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah. All right, Will. A bit of question about the Sci-Fi Center. How do the showings? How do the showings you do current DC and Marvel stuff work in terms of coordinating with studios and distributors? All right, great question. I've spent the last 12 years building relationships with. It started with the intermediates that work for the studios, and then in some cases the studios themselves. But usually, there are certain companies. There are two big ones that are hired by the studios to do as intermediates to do promotions. And what they do is they reach out to me, and we did it for a while because a lot of times it started out as they would just give any comic book store a certain amount of tickets. Like, oh, you sell comics, here's a comic book movie, let's go do this. And that's how it started with us. But where we expanded it is if you look at our history and you look at what we do, we just don't do a simple handout ticket. We do promotion. We dress people up. For example, for A Quiet Place, you had to send in your picture. And you had to say, I forgot what the phrase was, don't make a sound or something like that, but you couldn't say it. You had to find a way to say it without using your voice because that was the theme of the movie. For The Nun, we did The Nun, all the Nun movies. We had someone dress up as a nun and they came in and we did trivia. So if you look at our Instagram, we have a person dressed up as a horror, very scary fucking looking nun. And we would do serial killer trivia. We would do things that, that weren't just a promotion. So we ended up building a different relationship with them for all the movies that they put out. And because the promotions, if you look at our promotions, you go on our Instagram, we hashtag, and those promotions aren't just local anymore. We put those promotions out and they become national because we hashtag everybody, we tag everybody. With Blumhouse, we did Invisible Man and we created invisible tickets that you could only see if you raised them up against a white background. Things like that we did. So we would do that over and over again. And we just became effective at pushing the movie, and then certain companies will give you swag to give out. Like, I came over one of these that we did for Shazam, which is a holographic button. We have, as you can see behind me, for a long time, I had the Justice League stand-ups. We got a lot of stuff for Justice League. We got stuff for Blade Runner. It's just that we just became so adept at doing something other than just handing out the tickets that we just built a really strong relationship with certain people. And now, they email us and we say, yeah. I almost never say no. It used to be strictly just comic book movies, but we've expanded to just about every type of movie. I handle most of just the science fiction, horror, fantasy movies because that's my genre, that's my demo. But yeah, we've gotten really good at it as far as like, having people engage in the movie. We do online campaigns, we do prize wheels, we do all kinds of stuff. So the coordination is just basically like we know something is coming out and we start like I know Shazam is coming out. Like, so when we did Shazam, the very first Shazam movie, this is where those shirts came from. Everybody that went to go see the Shazam movie got a shirt with our logo on it, and we were all in unison wearing that. For Godzilla, we had giant movie tickets. The movie tickets were huge. For Godzilla versus Kong, we did a drive-in out here, and we put chalk down. One was Godzilla's footprint, and one was Kong's footprint. And on the drive-in, you parked your car on either Team Godzilla or Team Kong. And we showed the trailer and we showed the movies, and everybody got a T-shirt. One said Team Kong, one said Team Godzilla, and we had a little contest. So we go all out, and they we just by that we've just built a lot of good relationships over the past 10, 12 years, to where we get stuff, and they know now that we can do it in volume. So when we send people to the movies, we're not just sending 10 or 15 people to the movies. We're sending 40, 50, 60, in the case of Justice League, we sent 150 people total, Blade Runner, 200. I mean, so that's how we're able to get the stuff that we ever get, because we've been doing it for so long, and we've been doing it at the volume we're doing it. So I hope that answers your question. Good. All right, go ahead and read the next one. Did I lose you, Thade? Did I bore you? I'm sorry. I'll read it. Question. I have said this on other channels, but I think Danny DeVito as the Penguin should make a comeback. I don't. I think he was a good Penguin for 1992. I don't think he would be a good Penguin for 30 some odd years later. All right, next one, still. William, do you want to see a Reverse Flash in DCU? Yeah. If it's the right story, yeah. Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom, yeah. You're going to get the Dark Flash. So, I mean, I think that you would eventually get to. So, yeah, I would like to see him. All right, Levon, I want him back in Secret Wars, but I have a feeling that Secret Wars is going to be, I don't know. I think Secret Wars is going to be a clusterfuck, but you know what? It'll be a well-handled clusterfuck. All right, question. Do Michael Fassbender or James McAvoy have a look to play Bruce Wayne? Yeah.
Yes,
both.
they both do.
Yep. All right.
He's talking about the movie, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, I wouldn't save it, Larry, so I can watch it later.
William, if you were able to coordinate and contact the distributor of a studio, what would you do for a 30 Days of Night watch long? Are you talking about promoting a new movie or promoting an old one? Because when you're promoting an old one, it's a different thing. You have to go through a different level. You have to go to.
He's talking about promoting an old one.
Oh, promoting an old one, I would. My Vampire the Masquerade people and get together with them, and we would do like a campaign, and we would have prizes and stuff that you would win during the campaign.
Vampire the Masquerade.
Yep,
I used to live action role play that game.
We're about to start live action here in about a month or so. So yeah, I would get them together and do that. What do you guys think about Carl Urban as Batman? I think he could pull it
off. Slipknot fan, I just have one comment to make here. We normally don't talk about other YouTubers, but we definitely don't talk about these guys.
Yeah, I generally keep other YouTubers off our radar unless it's something I'm directly talking to about. But I try to keep that as a habit. Hey, Bill. All right, see you later.
Good night, Bill.
Hey, Bill, I'm afraid. Listen, Bill. You got to start dropping some abbreviated F-bombs in here so that I know this is you. If I don't hear the F word from you, to me this could be an imposter. So, one of the things I liked about you is you art per fuck in ways that I never think are great. But until then,
Zoom and Reverse Flash are two different villains. Yes. Yeah. One is Professor Zoom. The other is Ibotan.
But they've had different Reverse Flashes though, so I understand why he's confused, or whether it would be because Reverse Flash is actually. Hold on. He's actually right. But they're two different villains, but they operate under the same. Hold on.
Zoom has always been Reverse Flash has always been Albert Thawne. At least I thought.
All right. Wow, there's been a lot. Edward Clarice, Edward Thawne, Hunter Zolman, Thaddeus Dawn.
Oh, Hunter Zolman. I'd forgotten about him.
Daniel West. So yeah, you actually, and then Professor Zoom. Oops. Come on, StreamYard. we're about to wrap it up here because we've done our deal. Can't spell. Here we go. Yeah, Edward Thon, redirected from yeah.
Daniel West
That's Reverse Flash.
was a Reverse Flash. He was the uncle of Wally West.
I read him off. Yeah, I read him off. All right, Batman.
Yeah, because Suicide Swamp. So yeah.
Yeah, or Swamp Thing. So
Swamp Thing would work too.
Go ahead. Yeah,
Swamp Thing would work too.
All right, is that the last one? Oh no, there's another one just popped up. Yeah, Daniel West was an impulse villain. Yes, he was.
Yes.
All right, guys, I think we did it. I think we're now caught up. That's going to be it for the night. I have done it. I have done what I set out to do. I have shepherded you in from what was Saturday, February 4th into February 5th, a non-NFL Sunday. Sorry, I can't control that. But tonight, it's The Last of Us episode 4. So we'll see what kind of controversy that's bringing. Got you primed and ready by getting all that fungus. And now if you have nightmares about how the fungus can get to you, you're welcome. I think we covered everything that we covered this week. And I'm just excited for what's to come from all levels. I mean, comic book wise, horror movie wise. I got my tickets for Pooh Blood and Honey for February 15th. And I'm still working on getting that interview with the producer and the director for that one as soon as their live's still down long enough for not to be getting flown all over the world for premieres.
I should have us information on the Womp Stomp Films guys by next week.
Okay, so, cool, and that'll be fun. Like I said, and we're gonna start doing a lot of that too. So we're gonna cover a lot of bases over the next couple of weeks. So, all right, guys, it is now 12:03, and I will see you guys probably multiple times throughout the week. But if the news slows down, I'll slow down. Otherwise, you'll see me. You may even see me tomorrow. Who knows? That's his last question. Oops. Wrong button. Sorry. I should make him wait 30 seconds and answer his question. Now, what's your opinions of DeVito having written a Penguin comic and Dano writing a Riddler ones? I like the idea of actors. That's cool. I mean, once again, making a connection to the medium that wouldn't otherwise be there. I mean, people who follow that actor and liked his performance will come into these stores and start buying these books. So, all right, guys, I'm going to run the outro. Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for being the most show, the audience. Thank you for adding things to our content that we weren't even thinking of. And thank you for giving us ideas for maybe the next time around. So for Stella, I am William from the Sci-Fi Center, representing the Poindexter Lounge, the Poindexter Pantheon. And we will see you when we see you.